I now center myself in the sacred stillness of divine alignment. I breathe in the eternal presence of abundance, and I exhale every limitation that no longer belongs to me. I enter the holy temple of consciousness, where spirit speaks and my soul remembers. I am not here to chase wealth, I am here to become the vibration of divine prosperity itself. In this sacred moment, I activate the multimillionaire frequency encoded within my soul. It is not separate from me. It is not outside of me. It is a holy current already flowing in my spirit, planted there by the source of all riches. I am ready to tune in, to surrender, and to rise into this higher octave of wealth. As I speak, divine substance answers. As I declare, invisible riches begin to move. For my voice is a vessel of God's creative power. I now speak with authority, with faith, and with the certainty of one who knows. Heaven is backing me. The angels are surrounding me. The economy of the kingdom is flowing through me. Every cell in my body is receiving the vibration of overflow. My hands are magnetized to miracles. My mind is tuned to supernatural provision. My heart is open to receive no from struggle, but from divine synchronicity. I do not manifest from fear. I do not labor from lack. I attract from alignment. I allow from surrender. I expand from trust. I now release every false belief that said I had to suffer to receive. I break every generational pattern that kept me small. I cancel every agreement with poverty that I made unconsciously, and I replace it with the eternal covenant of divine abundance. I am not a beggar at the gates, I am an heir to the kingdom. And today, I walk through the gates wide open. Holy Spirit, guide me into financial flow that is rooted in peace, anchored in purpose, and powered by divine law. Lead me into ventures that prosper the world. Align me with ideas that create legacy. Send me mentors, favor, clients, resources, and open doors that only you can orchestrate. As I meditate on this frequency, I allow my body to remember what it means to feel safe with success. I allow my spirit to expand beyond numbers, beyond logic, beyond ego. For this wealth is not just for me, it is for generations. It is for impact. It is for the fulfillment of my divine assignment. And so I anchor this activation now. I bless the ground I stand on. I anoint the air around me. I command my aura to radiate wealth. The multimillionaire frequency is now fully alive in me. It surrounds me. It flows from me. It leads me. And so it is. Wealth is a divine frequency, not a material chase. It is not something to run after, to grasp with tired hands, or to fight the world for. It is a vibration, a sacred hum in the fabric of creation that responds to spiritual law, not physical effort. In the silence of stillness, in the depth of surrender, this frequency begins to awaken. It was never far. It was never lost. It was simply waiting for you to remember. There is no hustle in heaven. There is no panic in the presence of God. There is only flow, only order, only the rhythm of divine intelligence unfolding moment by moment. The world taught you to chase. The world taught you to compete. But Spirit teaches you to align. Spirit teaches you to become. And so now you release the chase. You surrender the striving. You stop running toward wealth, and instead you stand still and become wealth itself. Let your breath speak now. Inhale the sacred. Exhale the struggle. Inhale divine substance. Exhale every false belief that said you are separate from abundance. Feel how the breath does not try. It does not force. It does not beg for permission to flow. It simply is. And so it is with wealth. So it is with favor. So it is with provision. It flows to those who are tuned in, not to those who are desperate. It flows to those who remember who they are, not to those who forget and fear. You are not here to chase. You are here to tune. You are here to speak in harmony with heaven. You are here to allow your voice to carry the frequency of truth, for your voice is not ordinary. It is a spiritual tool. It is a divine instrument. When you speak, you send signals. When you speak, you create. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Speak now not from fear, but from fire. Speak from authority. Speak from knowing. I am one with the source. I am one with the supply. I do not chase. I attract. I do not beg. I become. Let this truth enter your bones. Wealth is already yours in the spirit. You are not waiting on a number. You are not hoping for a breakthrough. You are aligning with what already is. And what Isis good. What Isis overflowing. What Isis holy. This is not about money alone. This is about identity. This is about remembrance. This is about stepping into your spiritual DNA and vibrating at the level of legacy, of overflow, of divine fulfillment. The lilies of the field do not toil, the birds of the air do not store, and yet your heavenly Father provides for them. How much more will he provide for you? Not because you chase, but because you belong. You are not earning. You are not climbing a ladder built by men. You are remembering your position in a kingdom that has no end. You are seated in heavenly places. And in this holy seat wealth is not won, it is received. Feel the rhythm now, let it move through your chest, let it echo in your spirit. Wealth is a divine frequency. Say it again. Wealth is a divine frequency. It is not a product of performance. It is not a prize for the perfect. It is a promise to the faithful. Faith is the substance. Faith is the magnet. Faith is the frequency. When you walk in faith, you do not beg the universe to deliver. You expect the delivery. You live in the vibration of arrival. You carry the energy of fulfillment. And so now, you surrender the timeline. You surrender the pressure. You surrender the question of how. You say yes. You open your heart. You tune your spirit. You allow yourself to be a vessel for divine riches, not just for yourself, but for others, for purpose, for impact, for kingdom work. For when wealth is used righteously, it becomes worship. When wealth is used with wisdom, it multiplies miracles. You are not outside of this current. You are in it. You are made of it. You are it. Say it again, I am wealth in motion. I am abundance embodied. I am in sync with divine circulation. I do not need to chase what I already carry. I do not need to run toward what is already within. I am a frequency. I am a portal. I am a mirror of the source. Let this sacred rhythm continue as you walk deeper into the remembering, into the knowing, into the multi-millionaire frequency that was never about money but always about vibration. Abundance already exists within you. Activate, don't attract. This is not a journey of reaching outward, this is a revelation of looking inward. You are not a seeker begging the heavens to drop something down into your lap. You are a creator remembering the code that was written into your soul before time began. The vibration of abundance, the rhythm of increase, the song of wealth it is already playing inside of you. You are the instrument, you are the receiver, you are the conductor of divine currency. In the stillness of spirit, you remember, I do not need to pull from the world what has already been placed in me by the word. The treasure is within. The kingdom is within. The supply is within. I no longer strain my energy to magnetize things. I turn inward and release what has been waiting patiently in the silence. The overflow lives in my spirit. The breakthrough lives in my breath. The manifestation lives in my memory of who I really am. I am not empty. I am not void. I am full of holy riches. The divine pattern has already been encoded in me. I do not need to acquire. I need only awaken. I do not need to run. I need only remember. I do not need to attract from a place of lack. I activate from a place of truth. I am abundance. I am provision. I am the living, breathing image of the source. And what I am flows out when I stop resisting and start believing. Say it slowly. Abundance lives in me. Say it with breath. I am the channel. Say it with spirit. I am already equipped. Every cell in my body now opens to this remembrance. Every system within me realigns with this knowing. I release the old programming of striving. I dismantle the conditioning of scarcity. I let go of the illusion that I must prove or perform to be worthy of more. I return to the original design. I was made in the image of a God who lacks nothing, and if my Creator is whole, then so am I. As it is above, so it is within. Heaven is not far. Heaven is not delayed. Heaven is the vibration I carry when I stop doubting who I am. There is no gap between me and my abundance, only the veil of disbelief. And that veil is now torn. That veil is now lifted. I see clearly now. I feel fully now. I receive completely now. Let the frequency rise. Let the rhythm unfold. Let the vibration of abundance awaken every dormant part of you. You are not here to beg the universe. You are here to move with it. You are here to speak as one with it. For when you speak in alignment, you command light. When you speak from truth, you unlock time. When you speak from trust, the gates open, the windows pour, the river flows. You are not a magnet, you are a portal. You are not attracting wealth, you are allowing what already is to flow. There is nothing to chase. There is only something to release. There is only a veil to remove. There is only a gate to open within. The abundance you're waiting for has been waiting for you to believe, waiting for you to yield, waiting for you to declare with authority, I no longer live from outside in, I live from inside out. I let my voice become the activation. I let my praise become the vibration. I let my faith become the bridge between unseen and seen. I speak not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. I declare not as one who lacks, but as one who overflows. My words are keys. My breath is holy. My presence is permission for divine abundance to be made manifest. I walk not with hesitation, but with certainty. I move not with fear, but with fire. For when I walk in truth, heaven responds. When I walk in faith, the laws obey. I was never made to attract like the world I was born, to activate like the divine. And now I do. And now I am. And now I rise into the current that was always flowing within me. The voice carries creative power. Speak as the source, not the seeker. The universe does not respond to desperation. It responds to declaration. It responds to rhythm. It responds to the sound of faith. The vibration of your voice is not a simple sound, it is a command. It is law in motion. It is spirit announcing truth into the atmosphere. When you speak from wholeness, you shift reality. When you speak from authority, you collapse time. You are not whispering wishes, you are releasing divine law through sound. And so now, let your voice rise not in volume, but in vibration. Let it be filled not with noise, but with knowing. Let it carry the code of creation, for the Word is not separate from you. The Word is within you. The Word is made flesh through you. In the beginning, God said, and it was. So now, you say, and it becomes. Speak not from fear. Speak not from waiting. Speak as one who already has what they ask. Speak as one who already is what they desire to become. Your words are sacred tools. Your mouth is a vessel of manifestation. Let your words not mirror the world, let them mirror the kingdom. Let them mirror peace. Let them mirror power. Let them mirror heaven's certainty. When you say, I am, the universe listens. When you say, it is done, the angels move. When you speak with faith, what was unseen becomes substance. This is not theory. This is divine technology. This is the original language of the soul. There is no force in divine speech only flow. There is no pressure, only precision. You do not need to scream to be heard in the spirit. You need only align. You need only trust. You need only speak from the place within where the source abides. And from that place, say what you know to be true. I am abundant now. I am in overflow now. I am in rhythm with divine riches now. Your voice is the switch. Your voice is the gate. Your voice is the spark that awakens the dormant codes of wealth and provision already buried deep within your being. When you speak, you do not beg. When you speak, you do not plead. You summon, you align, you agree. For two cannot walk together unless they agree. And you are not just agreeing with words, you are agreeing with spirit. You are coming into resonance with the frequency of divine wealth by speaking its language. Let your language shift. Let your sound evolve. No more speaking lack. No more giving voice to fear. No more rehearsing the old stories that bound you to limitation. Now, speak as the source. Now, speak as the light. Now, speak as the extension of divine intention that you truly are. Your voice is not small. It is eternal. It does not echo in vain. It commands reality to reorder itself around truth. Say it now with breath, with heart, with presence. I speak, and it is. I declare, and heaven moves. I release, and the law obeys. I am the mouthpiece of divine abundance. I am the sound of sacred wealth. I am the voice that remembers its source. Even when the world around you feels slow to respond, keep speaking. Speak to the dry bones. Speak to the silence. Speak into the void. For faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. When you speak, you call what is unseen into the seen. You shape it, you mold it, you activate it. Your voice is not passive, it is prophetic. Your speech is not performance, it is power. This is not about speaking perfectly. This is about speaking faithfully. This is about trusting the resonance more than the results. It is about staying in rhythm with what you know, even when what you see is still catching up. Speak light. Speak life. Speak overflow. Speak gratitude in advance. Speak from victory, not toward it. Speak as one who is already seated at the table, not waiting at the door. You are not the seeker anymore. You are the source in expression. You are the divine in motion. You are the sound of God remembering itself in human form. And your voice is the key. Speak it now. Declare it again. Let every word be a wave of creation. Let every breath be a trumpet of truth. Let every sound that leaves your lips carry the vibration of heaven made manifest on earth. Financial overflow flows from spiritual alignment, not physical struggle. The world has taught you to earn, to hustle, to grind your soul into dust in pursuit of provision. But heaven does not reward exhaustion. Heaven responds to alignment. Divine riches do not flow from force, they flow from order. They move through peace. They obey harmony. And so now, you are called to shift, to release the heavy labor of lack, to remember the original truth, that wealth begins in the spirit long before it manifests in the flesh. You do not need to chase. You do not need to strain. You need only align your inner world with the rhythm of truth. Spirit first. Spirit always. For when the spirit is in harmony, the flow is automatic. When the soul is at peace, the current of overflow moves without resistance. It does not trickle, it pours. It does not delay, it responds. The delay is not in the divine, it is in the dissonance. The force that wears you down is the evidence of disconnection. And now you reconnect. Now you realign. Now you return to the place where everything flows. Let your breath bring you back. Let your voice speak the rhythm again. I am not earning. I am aligning. I am not forcing. I am allowing. I am not grinding. I am flowing. I return to rest, not because I am lazy, but because I am wise. I choose ease, not because I avoid responsibility, but because I know spiritual law. Ease is not idleness. Ease is faith in motion. And faith pleases God. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. Even in the verses of old, the pattern is clear. Rest precedes restoration. Stillness precedes supply. Want disappears not when you work harder, but when you walk in rhythm with the shepherd. He does not lead you into striving, he leads you into overflow, into green pastures, into divine provision, into supernatural ease. For his yoke is easy, his burden is light. You were never made to carry the weight of lack. You were made to carry the presence of divine provision. Let this remembering sink into your bones. The more you struggle, the more you signal separation. The more you strive, the more you echo disbelief. But when you align, you trust. When you align, you rest. When you align, you expect not from pride, but from divine positioning. And when your expectation rises, your frequency shifts. And when your frequency shifts, the flow finds you. It locates you. It moves toward you, not because you deserve it, but because you are in harmony with it. Say it softly. Say it sacredly. I am in harmony with wealth. I am in rhythm with abundance. I am tuned to the frequency of divine increase. I do not resist, I receive. I do not struggle, I surrender. I do not push, I allow. The kingdom flows through me not because I strive, but because I believe. My belief is my bridge. My faith is my field. My alignment is my permission slip for overflow. Now feel the shift. Feel the ease. Let the energy of divine circulation move through your chest. Let the atmosphere within you become still. Let the frequency of your being rise to match the truth that was always there. I am already in the flow. I was never outside of it. I was simply distracted. And now I come back. I come back to the rhythm. I come back to the order. I come back to the divine pattern where miracles are natural and money is movement. There is no scarcity in spirit. There is no shortage in God. So there can be no fear in you. You are not separate from the source. You are an extension of it. You are not a beggar, you are a branch. And the branch does not force the fruit. It receives the sap. It receives the light. It stays connected. And because it stays connected, it produces. So now you stay connected. And because you are connected, the overflow comes not by toil, but by truth. This is not about doing more. This is about being aligned. This is about walking in sync with your spirit and letting that sync open the heavens. There is no pressure here. There is no fight. There is only flow. There is only agreement. There is only divine circulation moving through you, in you, and around you. And it is good, and it is full, and it is holy. Poverty is a broken agreement. Wealth is a sacred covenant. Somewhere in your story, a lie was spoken over your life. A whisper of lack entered your lineage. A voice of fear echoed through generations. And silently, without knowing, you agreed. You agreed to play small. You agreed to accept just enough. You agreed to fear having more. But now, in this holy moment of awakening, you remember that agreement was never divine. That contract was never authored by God. That oath of limitation was never yours to keep. And so now, you break it. Now, you release it. Now, you renounce every vow that bound your soul to struggle. Let your spirit speak. Let your voice declare. I break every agreement with lack. I dissolve every covenant with fear. I cancel every curse of poverty spoken by generations who didn't know they were free. I do not carry their fear, I carry divine inheritance. I do not continue their scarcity, I initiate divine overflow. For what was passed down in silence, I now confront with truth. What was hidden in my bloodline, I now cleanse with the word. The chain stops with me. The pattern ends with me. The broken agreement is replaced by holy covenant. This covenant is not made by men. This covenant is not signed by banks or bound by economies. This covenant was sealed in the spirit. This covenant was whispered into your soul before your body ever took form. I shall not want. I shall not lack. I am the head and not the tail. I am blessed going in and blessed coming out. This is the language of the covenant. This is the voice of divine provision. And now you remember it. You are not here to survive, you are here to steward. You are not here to live in fear. You are here to demonstrate the abundance of a faithful God. There is no holiness in poverty. There is no humility in lack. There is no glory in chains that God already shattered. You were not created to scrape the floor of survival. You were called to walk in the inheritance of kings. You are a child of the Most High. You are an heir of divine overflow. And this truth must now take root. Speak it boldly. Speak it clearly. Speak it without apology. I revoke the old agreement. I sign a new covenant. I say yes to divine wealth. I say yes to spiritual overflow. I say yes to becoming the vessel through which God funds miracles, not for greed but for glory, not for ego but for expansion, not for vanity but for vision. I am no longer afraid of abundance. I am no longer ashamed of overflow. I am no longer hiding in the shadows of just enough. Every time you said money is hard, you unknowingly renewed the old contract. Every time you feared success, you silently reinforced the vow of struggle. But now your language shifts. Now your vibration rises. Now your voice carries new authority. Money is not hard, it is a tool. Wealth is not a sin, it is a strategy. Overflow is not a burden, it is a blessing. Let your rhythm align with truth. Let your sound dismantle the old altar of fear. Let your voice become the pen that signs the sacred covenant again. This is a covenant of trust, a covenant of peace, a covenant of supernatural supply. It is not earned through works, it is activated through faith. Faith is the signature. Faith is the door. Faith is the frequency. And now you are tuned in. Now you are aligned. Now you are remembering the laws that govern the unseen. The covenant has always been written in your spirit. You are not discovering it, you are returning to it. Let every cell remember. Let every breath repeat it. I am in covenant with abundance. I am in agreement with divine supply. I am in partnership with heaven's provision. What I need comes. What I release multiplies. What I speak returns fulfilled. I do not live under the rules of the broken. I live under the promises of the redeemed. I do not beguile, believe. I do not doubt, I declare. This covenant cannot be shaken by recessions. This covenant cannot be broken by reports. This covenant is spiritual law, and spiritual law is superior to circumstance. I stand on higher ground. I speak from deeper knowing. I rise with holy authority. The covenant is intact. The flow is restored. The curse is cancelled. The abundance is mine not because I am striving, but because I am sealed. Not because I perform, but because I believe. Not because I chase, but because I align. You're not earning, you're remembering your inheritance. There is nothing to fight for. There is nothing to prove. There is only something to recall deep within the soul. You were not sent here empty. You did not arrive without substance. Before you were formed in the womb, a spiritual deposit was made. A divine trust was written in your name. Your abundance is not a future prize, it is a birthright sealed in eternity. And now you remember. This is not about gaining worth. This is about reclaiming what was never lostly forgotten. You were taught to measure value by effort, to tie your identity to productivity. But heaven never asked you to earn what was already yours. Heaven only asked you to believe, only asked you to awaken, only asked you to receive the truth your spirit already knows. I am the heir. I am the child. I am the one it belongs to. Let the veil lift now. Let the fog of unworthiness dissolve. Let the striving cease. You are not climbing a ladder, you are walking through an open gate. You are not begging for permission, you are holding the keys. Every doubt, every delay, every resistance dissolves in the light of remembrance. You are not waiting for favor to find you. You are stepping into the room you were always meant to occupy. Let your voice echo this truth. I do not earn, I inherit. I do not chase, I claim. I do not fear, I remember. The kingdom is not out there. It is within. The treasure is not far. It is in your hands. The promise is not someday. It is now. And you, beloved, are not the servant, you are the child. The heir does not strive. The heir does not beg. The heir walks with confidence because they know what already belongs to them. This knowing must settle into your bones. This truth must echo in your chest. You were not created for survival. You were created to reign. You are royalty wrapped in skin. You are legacy unfolding in time. You are the continuation of a divine covenant that cannot be revoked. It is written in grace. It is sealed in spirit. It is activated through faith. Let your breath become the rhythm of inheritance. Let your heartbeat align with the memory of provision. You are not unworthy. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are aligned. You are rising. You are remembering. Say it now, and say it slow. I am already equipped. I am already chosen. I am already full. Every good and perfect gift is already assigned to me. I call it forth not through labor, but through knowing. I release it not through effort, but through declaration. Your mind may ask for proof. Your history may echo fear, but the Spirit speaks louder. The Spirit reminds you that what God has placed within you cannot be erased by delay or diminished by doubt. The gifts and callings of God are irrevocable. What has been written cannot be unwritten. What has been promised cannot be undone. Your inheritance is safe. Your wealth is sacred. Your supply is sure. Now speak again. Let your voice be the sound of memory restored. Let your soul sing the song of the air. I was born blessed. I was born abundant. I was born in covenant. I was born for overflow. Everything I need already recognizes me. Every provision already has my name on it. Every door that opens is simply responding to the authority I carry as an heir. I am not earning the blessing, I am remembering who I am under it. This is the shift. This is the rhythm. This is the alignment of grace. The orphan spirit is gone. The worker's burden is lifted. The race is over. The remembering has begun. The gates are open. The inheritance is flowing. The time is now. The veil is thin. The frequency is clear. And you are the one. You are the vessel. You are the channel through which heaven's legacy becomes earth's reality. Success rooted in spirit will always multiply with peace. Real wealth does not rush. True prosperity does not panic. The abundance that lasts, the riches that renew, the legacy that expands it all flows from the foundation of divine peace. Not the peace the world gives, not the fleeting stillness bought through avoidance, but the sacred calm that only comes from alignment with the source. That peace, the kind that surpasses understanding, is the soil where sacred success begins to bloom. You were never meant to build your life on anxiety. You were never designed to sacrifice your spirit to gain the world. What good is the house if it costs your soul? What gain is the goal if it robs your grace? But spirit shows a better way. Spirit whispers, return to rest, return to peace, return to the center where I speak, where I lead, where I provide not through pressure but through promise, not through grinding but through guidance, not through control but through communion. Let your breath align with that promise now. Let every inhale carry ease. Let every exhale dissolve effort. I build from peace. I rise from rest. I multiply from the quiet, knowing that God goes before me. That truth is my anchor. That wisdom is my wealth. That peace is my confirmation. I do not chase signs, I carry stillness. I do not beg for direction, I walk with discernment. The world may glorify chaos. The world may applaud the constant hustle. But spirit leads differently. Spirit leads gently, quietly, powerfully. The greatest miracles unfold without noise. The deepest breakthroughs are born in stillness. The most sacred ideas come not when you push, but when you pause. That is the frequency of divine success. That is the path of the heir. The way of the child who trusts the Father's hand more than their own plan. Say it with your breath. I choose peace over pressure. I choose trust over tension. I choose rhythm over rush. Every blessing that is mine will arrive in divine timing. Every breakthrough assigned to me is already in motion. I do not have to force what is already flowing. I do not have to fight for what I was born to carry. When I move from peace, I move in power. When I speak from peace, I speak in rhythm with divine law. When I rest in peace, I rise in purpose. The presence of peace is the sign of alignment. Let it guide you. Let it lead your decisions. Let it be your compass. When your heart is stirred, wait. When your soul is calm, move. This is how you partner with the divine current. This is how you stay in sync with heaven's schedule. Not by striving, but by sensing. Not by fear, but by faith. Peace is not the absence of challenge, it is the evidence of presence. The presence of God, the presence of clarity, the presence of divine order unfolding in your favor. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are in rhythm now. You are in flow now. You are in peace now. And from this place the right doors will open. The right people will appear. The right resources will gather. Success will multiply. Not because you pushed, but because you partnered. Not because you forced, but because you flowed. Peace attracts what panic repels. Peace magnetizes what fear disrupts. Peace multiplies what force destroys. Let your voice carry this sacred rhythm. Let your words be soaked in serenity. I am a vessel of peace. I am a conduit of calm. I am the evidence of God's timing made visible. I do not fear success, I embody it. I do not run from growth, I anchor it. I do not fight for space, I create it. For when peace governs my steps, prosperity follows my path. Even now, even here, even in the waiting there is peace. And where there is peace, there is the presence. And where the presence dwells, nothing is missing, nothing is broken. Nothing is denied. I carry peace like a mantle. I move with it like a song. And everywhere I go, it becomes the atmosphere. It becomes the confirmation. It becomes the ground where divine success roots itself, multiplies, and overflows. Divine timing and favor outweigh hustle and effort. The world will try to rush you, will try to make you believe that faster is better, that sooner means success. But Spirit teaches a deeper truth, that when you are aligned, you cannot miss what's yours. When you walk in divine timing, no man can delay you, and no mistake can disqualify you. The blessing is not just in the destination, it is in the timing, the rhythm, the unfolding, the invisible choreography of grace that guides all things to work together for your good. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are right where you need to be for the next miracle to find you. You are in the sacred sequence of divine orchestration. God is never early, never late, always exact, always intentional, always precise. And so, your job is not to hustle. Your calling is not to force. Your purpose is not to panic into performance. Your invitation is to trust, to wait with faith, to move with grace, to speak with rhythm, to act only when peace confirms and timing aligns. Let your breath come back into your body. Let your spirit sink into this truth. I trust divine timing. I trust divine favor. I trust that what is mine is already marked with my name. I trust that the door will open when I am ready to walk through it. I trust that what I seek is seeking me, and that our meeting has already been scheduled in heaven. I trust the delays are not rejections, but protections. I trust that rest is not weakness, but wisdom. I trust that the pace of God is perfect. There is no need to run when you are carried. There is no need to compete when you are chosen. There is no need to exhaust yourself when grace goes before you. Favor will take you where hustle cannot. Favor will unlock what effort cannot. Favor will position you in places your resume could never reach. When the hand of God is on your life, no striving is required, only surrender. Only belief. Only alignment with the unseen order that governs all things in divine intelligence. Say it slowly, favor finds me. Say it with breath timing, aligns for me. Say it with spirit, what is mine is inevitable. You are not asking for what doesn't belong to you. You are agreeing with what already does. You are simply coming into harmony with what's already finished in the spirit. You are not creating the blessing, you are arriving at it, step by step, moment by moment, in perfect time. Let peace be your pace. Let faith be your fuel. Let favor be your foundation. You are not behind, you are being prepared. You are not overlooked, you are being refined. You are not waiting, you are aligning. The soil must soften before the seed can grow. The season must shift before the fruit can ripen. And you, beloved, are not just the receiver, you are the garden, the vessel, the sacred space where divine promises bloom on time. The pressure to perform dissolves now. The urge to race evaporates now. The false timelines imposed by fear fall away. You no longer live by clocks, you live by calling. You no longer move by force, you move by flow. You no longer pray from panic, you declare from peace. Every delay has purpose. Every pause has power. Every setback is a setup for alignment so precise it could only be heaven. And so you breathe again. You listen again. You wait with joy, not dread. You trust the pause. You bless the silence. You honor the journey. You no longer need to be loud to be heard. You no longer need to be fast to be first. You no longer need to prove when you are already positioned. Divine timing is unfolding for you now. Favor is surrounding you now. Provision is meeting you in the flow. You are not waiting for breakthrough, you are being guided into it. This is your rhythm now. This is your reality now. The heavens are not rushing. The angels are not anxious. All of creation is moving in harmony with divine timing. And now, so are you. So are you. So are you. Generational wealth begins with spiritual identity. Not with numbers in an account, not with titles or possessions, but with the truth of who you are in the divine. For what is wealth without wisdom? What is legacy without alignment? It is your identity in spirit that anchors the riches meant to last. It is your remembrance of divine origin that becomes the foundation of overflow that stretches beyond your lifetime. You were not sent here to build fleeting fortune, you were called to establish eternal flow. And that begins when you know who you are. Not who the world says, not who your past defines, not who fear tries to shape, but who God whispered you were when He formed you in the secret place. You are royal. You are heir. You are chosen. You are the beginning of a new lineage, one that is rooted in truth, watered by grace, and multiplied by faith. You are the one your bloodline has been waiting for. You are the breaker of cycles. You are the initiator of blessing. You are the vessel that transforms lack into legacy. Let that knowing rise. Let it speak louder than the memory of poverty. Let it override the echoes of scarcity. Say it softly, I am not repeating what was. Say it surely, I am rebuilding from what's true. Say it boldly, I am creating what lasts. Wealth begins inside. Legacy starts within. And you carry it not just in your hands, but in your being. You are wealth. You are divine currency. You are the alignment that blesses generations. This is not about what you earn. It is about what you embody. It is about who you become when you strip away the false and stand in the sacred. The sacred self knows abundance not as something to reach for, but as something it already is. The sacred self knows that money flows to identity that is stable, rooted, connected. When you know who you are, you stop reacting. You start creating. When you remember your spiritual name, you stop trying to fit into systems never built for you, and you rise to build something new. It begins now, with breath, with agreement, with declaration. I am the root of generational blessing. I am the shift in the bloodline. I am the aligned vessel through which divine riches flow. I am not afraid of wealth because I know who I am with it. I do not lose myself in gain because I am anchored in God. I do not worship what flows to me, I steward it. I do not fear success. I remember it's part of my spiritual DNA. Let this remembrance settle in your bones. You were made for more than survival. You were made to shift atmospheres, to rewrite stories, to restore what was lost and multiply what was given. You are not just a receiver of wealth. You are a distributor. You are the bridge between heaven and earth. You are the answer to a generational cry for freedom. You are the one who turns inheritance into legacy not by effort, but by identity. This is why the attack on your mind was so strong. This is why confusion tried to cloud your clarity. Because if you forget who you are, the river stops. But now you remember. Now you declare. Now you rise in rhythm with divine identity, not borrowed, not earned, not forced, but breathed into you by the Creator of all things. I am who God says I am. I am aligned. I am anointed. I am enough. And from this knowing, money flows. From this posture, doors open. From this place, wealth multiplies not as vanity, but as vision, not as escape, but as establishment. You are being planted now, rooted in truth, grounded in spirit, and the fruit will be undeniable. It will bless not just your hands, but your house, not just your lifetime, but the generations to come. And they will say someone remembered, someone aligned, someone believed, and that someone was you. You are not manifesting to become, you are manifesting to reveal. Nothing is missing. Nothing is broken. Nothing is incomplete. The truth has always been within you, wrapped in light, waiting for agreement. You are not calling something new into being. You are uncovering what was already written into your spirit. You are not fabricating blessings, you are unfolding divine design. This is not invention, it is remembrance. This is not reaching, it is returning. Let your breath slow. Let your spirit still. You are not in lack. You are not in need. You are in the presence of what already is. I manifest not from emptiness, but from overflow. I manifest not because I am trying to fix myself, but because I am remembering myself. I am remembering that the word is already planted, that the blessing is already stored, that the vision is already formed. The harvest is already ripened, and now I agree with it. Now I release it. Now I call it forth not with force, but with faith, not with fear, but with rhythm. This is divine law. What is loosed in heaven shall be loosed on earth. What is agreed upon in spirit shall be revealed in form. When I speak it, I do not invent it. I give it permission to appear. I do not plead. I declare. I do not wish. I align. My alignment is my yes. My declaration is my doorway. My belief is the gate. And I walk through it now. I walk through it with reverence. I walk through it with clarity. I walk through it with trust. I do not chase what I already carry. I do not seek what I already hold. I do not run to find, I slow down to remember. All things were made through the Word, and that Word lives in me. That Word is alive in my body. That Word speaks through my voice. I do not need to shout, I need only speak from truth. The vibration of truth moves faster than force. The sound of faith travels further than effort. The frequency of knowing attracts what striving repels. So I speak as the one who knows. I speak from wholeness. I speak from peace. My words carry weight. My sound carries authority. My breath carries blueprint. I am not commanding the universe, I am harmonizing with it. I am not trying to impress God, I am resting in what God already gave. I was created in the image of abundance. I was born in the likeness of overflow. I carry the imprint of divine completion. I do not manifest to fill a gap, I manifest to reflect a glory that has always existed. Say it with the calm of one who knows the truth cannot fail. I am already it. I am already aligned. I am already vibrating with the frequency of fulfillment. There is no waiting, there is only awakening. There is no striving, there is only surrender. There is no proving, there is only allowing. I manifest not through labor, but through light, through voice, through breath, through stillness, through the sacred act of remembering. What I see in my spirit is already mine. What I feel in my soul is already real. I am not creating from fantasy, I am manifesting from spiritual evidence. My desires are not random, they are reminders. They are echoes of what heaven already knows about me. So I honor the vision, I honor the dream, I honor the wealth. I do not question it, I become it. I do not resist it, I receive it. I do not delay it, I dwell in it now. This is sacred territory. This is holy ground, where the veil is thin and the soul is clear, where the false self dissolves and the true self rises, where I no longer speak as a seeker, I speak as the source. I no longer ask for proof, I embody the promise. I no longer wait for signs, I become the signal, the light. The evidence of God's perfect intention made manifest on earth through a surrendered, aligned, awakened life. And so I say it again, not with noise, but with knowing. I am it now. I feel it now. I breathe it now. I move as one who carries the fullness. And as I move, the world rearranges. As I move, the vision meets me. As I move, the invisible becomes visible. I manifest only what has always been mine by remembering, by releasing, and by radiating the truth that I already am. You are not here to fit in, you are here to radiate. You are not here to shrink, you are here to shine. You are not here to ask for space, you are here to embody it. This wealth, this wisdom, this divine frequency that pulses through your being is not meant to be hidden. It is meant to be seen. It is meant to be felt. It is meant to be multiplied. You are not being arrogant when you step into your fullness. You are being obedient. For no one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket. The light is set high so all may see it. And you, yes, you are that light. Let your presence speak before your words do. Let your energy enter rooms as prophecy. Let your being radiate truth louder than your opinions. You are not defined by the noise around you. You are aligned with the truth within you. And that truth, when remembered, shines. It does not ask for permission to glow. It does not dim to make others feel safe. It does not apologize for brilliance born of divine origin. Your radiance is not pride, it is purpose. Say it now, not from the mind, but from the heart. I was born to shine. I was born to prosper. I was born to express the glory of God made visible in human form. I will not hide what heaven has called forth. I will not shrink to be acceptable. I will not mute my power to be palatable. I carry the essence of divine success, and it is safe to let it show. It is holy to let it rise. It is righteous to let it overflow. You are not called to dim your light for those still in darkness. You are called to shine so they remember their own. You are not being boastful when you radiate from truth. You are being faithful. To hide your gift is to reject the assignment. To silence your song is to delay someone else's awakening. Your overflow is someone else's permission slip. Your abundance is someone else's roadmap. Your joy is someone else's prophecy. You are the evidence of what is possible when spirit is allowed to lead. You are the living testimony of what happens when faith is louder than fear, when trust becomes rhythm, when peace becomes power, when the voice of the soul takes its rightful place on the throne of your life. Do not fear visibility. Do not fear success. Do not fear influence. When your heart is anchored in God, your light will not blind, it will bless. Feel that shift now. The veil is gone. The fear is gone. The old shell of smallness crumbles at your feet. You are not here to entertain. You are not here to impress. You are here to illuminate. And you do that simply by being who you truly are fully, freely, faithfully. You do not have to try to be light. You are light. And when you stand in truth, it glows through your skin, radiates from your eyes, moves through your words, and blesses every space you enter. Let your voice confirm what your spirit already knows. I no longer hide. I no longer play small. I no longer reject the divine gift of being seen. I allow myself to expand. I allow myself to lead. I allow myself to be known. I am a city on a hill. I am the reflection of heaven's order made visible. I do not ask if I'm worthy. I remember that I was chosen. I do not wait for approval if I walk in divine assignment. You are not rising by accident. You are being revealed. You are not being promoted by man. You are being unveiled by God. And this unveiling is holy. This expansion is sacred. This visibility is not for ego, it is for purpose. It is so others may look upon you and see the fruit of surrender, the reward of alignment, the beauty of faith in action. They will see you and know. God is faithful. God is generous. God is real. And so you walk now not with fear, but with reverence, not with hesitation, but with clarity, not with apology, but with sacred boldness. You carry the light not to be worshipped, but to awaken. You carry the light not to impress, but to ignite. You carry the light not to shine alone, but to remind the world that the light was always inside them too. And now, as the light expands from within you, you remember the most sacred truth of all: you were never separate. You were never apart from abundance. You were never outside the circle of favor. You were never distant from divine supply. The illusion of separation was just Thetan illusion. It was never real. It was never true. The veil has torn. The wall has fallen. The gap was imagined. And now you return not to a place, but to a knowing. Not to a system, but to a source. Not to an identity outside of yourself, but to the divine truth that you and God have always been one. You are not reaching for a higher self, you are allowing your true self to rise. You are not becoming holy, you are unveiling the holiness that's always been hidden beneath the noise. There is no need to climb, no need to search, no need to fix. There is only surrender. There is only presence. There is only remembrance. For the kingdom of God is not out there, it is within you. And now you dwell in it. Now you live from it. Now you speak from it. Say it slowly as the soul awakens. I was never separate. I was never lacking. I was never unworthy. I am one with divine flow. I am one with infinite source. I am one with the Creator who calls me enough. This is not a concept. This is not a mantra. This is a vibration. This is a truth your spirit has always known, echoing now in your breath, rising now in your blood, pouring now through every cell of your being. There is no distance between you and the supply. There is no distance between you and the vision. There is no distance between you and the fulfillment of every sacred desire birthed in your heart by divine will. You do not chase what you are one with. You do not plead for what is already yours. You do not compete for what flows through you by birthright. There is no fear in oneness. There is no striving in unity. There is only flow. There is only rest. There is only the deep, holy exhale of a soul that has finally come home. And now the river moves again. And now the gates swing open. And now the frequency of divine wealth rushes through you not as something external, but as something remembered. This is the law. As He is, so are you in this world. Not when you become worthy, not when you do more. Now as you are, now in this body, now with this breath. You do not ascend, you allow. You do not force, you flow. You do not beg, you bless. I am not separate from the riches of heaven. I am the instrument through which they flow. I am not cut off from miracles. I am the space where miracles manifest. I am not apart from God. I am in Him, and He is in me, the vine and the branch, the breath and the voice, the vision and the vessel. There is no division, only union. There is no gap, only grace. There is no separation, only stillness, where Spirit speaks. Now you no longer need signs. Now you no longer need permission. You have been given authority, not because you fought for it, but because you remembered who you are. When you walk in oneness, fear has no place. When you live from union, money has no power over you. When you speak from alignment, the world responds, not because you demanded, but because you radiated, not because you chased, but because you became. I am not trying to connect, I am the connection. I am not trying to receive, I am the channel. I am not waiting for supply, I am the flow. My mind aligns, my body yields. My voice becomes sacred current. I am one with light. I am one with law. I am one with divine circulation. What is mine is me. What is me cannot be lost. What is aligned cannot be delayed. And so I rise not to be accepted, but because I already belong. I rise not to prove, but to reflect. I rise not to reach the frequency, but to remember that I am the frequency. I am the light. I am the wealth. I am the miracle in motion. I am the word made manifest. I am the divine expressed in form. I am not waiting for heaven to move. I am heaven moving now. And now that you have remembered your oneness with the Source, you are ready to walk in divine circulation. You are ready to give freely, to release joyfully, to sow without fear and reap without strain. For what flows from you flows through you. What you give is never lost, it is multiplied. What you release is not decreased, it is returned, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not the logic of the world. This is the law of spirit. This is the rhythm of the kingdom. Circulation is the sound of trust. Circulation is the proof of abundance. You no longer hold tightly out of fear. You no longer clutch out of lack. You no longer hoard out of doubt. For you know now what I give, I do not lose. What I sow, I do not subtract. What I share, I do not diminish. I release in faith. I release in joy. I release in rhythm. I release because I trust the law that governs the unseen. I release because I know I am not the source, I am the vessel. And so I become generous, not because I have too much, but because I know there is always more. Not because I am trying to impress, but because I trust divine law. Not because I fear lack, but because I now flow with the one who gives without measure. When I give, I activate circulation. When I tithe, I honor the source. When I bless, I expand my capacity to receive. I give not to get, but in giving, I align with divine flow. I do not control the return, I trust it. I do not predict the harvest, I rejoice in the seed. Let your voice flow in rhythm now. I am not afraid to give. I am not afraid to release. I am not afraid to sow. I am in covenant with circulation. I am in partnership with multiplication. I am in harmony with divine economy. There is no such thing as too much when you are aligned. There is no fear of running out when you know your supply is infinite. And so I share, and so I tithe, and so I give with open hands, open heart, open spirit, not from guilt, not from pressure, not from scarcity, but from sacred knowing, from deep agreement, from joy. The widow gave her last and was sustained. The boy gave his bread and fish, and the multitude was fed. The oil did not run out. The flour did not fail. The loaves multiplied in the hands of the giver. So it is with you. When your gift leaves your hands with faith, it enters the hands of spirit, and in those hands it grows. In those hands it expands. In those hands it touches more than you'll ever know. This is the mystery of kingdom circulation. What you release is never just for you. It flows into places you'll never see. It blesses people you'll never meet. It opens doors you didn't know were closed. It answers prayers you never heard. And somehow when you need it most, it comes back not as a copy but as a miracle. Not as a refund, but as overflow. Not in equal form, but in divine measure. I give because I trust. I give because I know. I give because I am no longer the dam, I am the river. I am the flow. I am the movement of spirit through wealth, through kindness, through time, through love, through presence, through generosity. There is no loss in God. There is only return. There is only increase. There is only grace. And as I move in grace, I move in abundance. Every time I give, I remind my spirit that there is always more. Every time I bless, I remind my body that I am connected to the source of all things. Every time I release, I create space for the new. Every time I circulate, I rise into the higher laws that govern wealth beyond numbers. I move with heaven's economy now. I move with divine wisdom now. I move with joyful obedience now. And the return? The return is inevitable. The return is divine. The return is wrapped in perfect timing and holy surprise. The return is never rushed, never late, never empty. I do not give to get. I give because I am already full. I do not release to impress. I release because I am already blessed. I do not circulate because I have to. I circulate because I am free, because I am whole, because I am wealth in motion. And now, in the flow of divine circulation, you remember the final key. Gratitude is the multiplier. Gratitude is the sacred signal that tells the universe you are ready for more. Gratitude is the gate that opens wide the doors of increase. Not just thank you from the lips, but thank you from the soul. Thank you as vibration. Thank you as alignment. Thank you as a state of being, not a reaction. You are not waiting to feel grateful. Once it comes, you are feeling grateful because it already is. Gratitude is not a reward for receiving. Gratitude is the frequency that calls the receiving forth. It is the faith sound that touches the invisible and pulls it into form. When you give thanks, you tell heaven, I see it. I believe it. I honor it. Even before it shows. Even when it's still in the unseen. You speak as if it's done. Because in the realm of spirit it is done. So now you rise in holy thanksgiving. You rise in sacred recognition. You rise in the rhythm of appreciation that precedes the miracle. Say it slowly, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let it rise in your chest like breath. Let it echo through your being like a song. I thank you for what I see, and I thank you for what I sense. I thank you for what has arrived, and I thank you for what is already on the way. I thank you for the open door, and I thank you for the wisdom to walk through it. I thank you for the past that shaped me. I thank you for the present that holds me. I thank you for the future that knows my name. Gratitude anchors me in trust. Gratitude silences the lie of lack. Gratitude dismantles doubt and lifts the eyes of my spirit to the hills where my help comes from. I do not need proof to give praise. I do not need manifestation to feel majesty. I do not need a sign to sing. I give thanks now not because everything is perfect, but because everything is purposed. I give thanks now not because I see it all, but because I trust the one who sees it for me. The more I thank, the more I align. The more I align, the more I attract. The more I attract, the more I overflow. Gratitude is not passive, it is powerful. It is not weak, it is warfare. It tells fear it has no place here. It tells doubt it cannot live here. It tells scarcity it cannot dwell in a grateful heart. A grateful heart is an abundant heart. A grateful soul is a magnet for miracles. And I am grateful. I am deeply, fully, reverently grateful. Thank you for the blessings I haven't spoken aloud. Thank you for the provision that moves in silence. Thank you for the divine delays that were really divine protection. Thank you for the gifts that came wrapped in discomfort. Thank you for the wisdom born from waiting. Thank you for the wealth that flows not just in numbers, but in peace, in clarity, in joy, in purpose, in presence. Let your body hold this vibration now. Let your voice be the sound of sacred thankfulness. Let your being pulse with the rhythm of appreciation. I am not just saying thank you. I am thank you. I walk as thank you. I live as thank you. I breathe as thank you. My footsteps are gratitude. My decisions are gratitude. My presence is a living praise. Every cell remembers now. Every part of me sings. I am thankful. I am thankful. I am thankful. I am grateful for the increase that is already mine. I am grateful for the wealth that is already assigned. I am grateful for the alignment that cannot be shaken. I am grateful for the flow that never ends. I do not wait to see it, I praise it now. I do not wait to hold it. I honor it now. I do not wait for evidence, I live as if it's done. Because in spirit it is done. It is done. It is done. Gratitude makes me magnetic. Gratitude makes me radiant. Gratitude makes me unstoppable. For a heart that praises in the unseen becomes a vessel for the seen, and I praise. I rise in praise. I speak in praise. I move in praise. I multiply in praise. My abundance is wrapped in gratitude, sealed in gratitude, expanded by gratitude. And now with open hands, open eyes, and an open heart, I say again, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And now, in the current of deep gratitude, your vibration becomes still more precise, more powerful, more magnetic. Because when gratitude overflows from your soul, clarity begins to descend. Confusion falls away. The noise loses its grip. And in that sacred stillness, vision is sharpened. Direction becomes clear. The inner compass points true. You no longer chase many things, you align with the one thing that matters. You no longer try to be everything, you return to the essence of what you are. Focus is holy, focus is spiritual, focus is divine strategy. It is not about doing less, it is about being more present. It is not about cutting things off, it is about cutting through the fog to remember what Spirit already revealed. Divine wealth is not birthed through scattered energy. It is born through focused frequency. Wealth comes to the heart that sees clearly, the soul that knows its yes, the spirit that is not distracted by noise, but devoted to assignment. Say it slowly now. I focus with power. I focus with peace. I focus with purpose. My energy is sacred, and I no longer leak it. I no longer dilute my anointing by scattering my soul. I no longer waste my light by trying to light up places I'm not called to enter. I do not follow every open door, I follow the divine direction. I do not listen to every voice, I move with the whisper of spirit. I do not serve every demand, I respond only to destiny. I protect my frequency. because I protect my future. And so now you return, not to the noise, not to the rush, not to the striving world that forgets what already is, but to the deep knowing that you were born aligned. You were born worthy. You were born connected. You were born to carry this frequency, to hold this light, to walk in this divine wealth, not as a stranger, but as a rightful heir. The work is not in force, it is in faith. The power is not in pushing, it is in presence. And the manifestation is not outside you, it is already within. You do not need to earn what was always yours. You do not need to convince the universe to bless you. You are the blessing. You are the current. You are the river, the light, the breath, the vessel. And now you remember. And now you allow. And now you align. All things are now working together in rhythm with this truth. All things are now responding to your voice. All things are now rearranging, reordering, and returning to you multiplied, perfected, and complete. You are no longer waiting. You are activating. You are no longer seeking. You are receiving. You are no longer hoping. You are embodying. This is the frequency of divine wealth. This is the vibration of heaven's economy. This is the multimillionaire frequency, and you are tuned to it now. You are flowing with it now. You are rising in it now. It is done. It is sealed. It is flowing. And so it is. And so it has always been. And so it shall forever be.
Welcome to the Depth Dive, and if you're joining us again, welcome back to the second in our series. Settle in, maybe take a breath, because today we're going on a really insightful journey. We're diving into some timeless spiritual principles, specifically, the teachings of the amazing Florence Scovel, and how her wisdom touches something so personal for all of us: money, abundance, divine supply, and that deep power of faith. Have you ever felt that? That quiet frustration, maybe? Watching prosperity just seem to flow so easily for others, like a river, nourishing some lives, some families. Well, you feel kind of overlooked, bypassed, like you're just standing on the riverbank watching that current rush by, just out of reach. You work hard, you hope, you do all the things you're supposed to do, and still that feeling's there. So this deep dive, it's about remembering how to step right into that current. It's like a shortcut, really, to remembering what you already know deep down.
Yeah, and what's truly amazing is that this flow, this river of abundance, it doesn't play favorites. It's never actually avoided you. It's more like it's been pooling right there at your feet, just waiting, waiting for permission to enter. And today, well, that waiting stops. This isn't about learning some complex, brand new secret. Not at all. It's really about remembering a truth that, your soul already gets. A truth that once you really embrace it, changes absolutely everything.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Florence Scovel, she taught that life is this game, right? Played not with force, but with belief. And the first, maybe the most fundamental rule of this game is this: money isn't a thing you chase or win.
Exactly. It's an energy,
Right.
something to embody, a current to join.
We miss that so often, don't we? We're kind of conditioned to see money as finite, scarce.
It creates that hunter mentality.
Yeah, like we have to capture it, hoard it, protect it from others, that clenched fist consciousness.
Believing that for us to have more, someone else must have less. And that perception, that's the real barrier. That belief, it literally acts like a dam, blocking the very flow you actually want. When your core belief is lack, well, you create lack in your experience. It's that simple in a way. When you're vibrating with desperation, you're subconsciously pushing away the very thing you're trying so hard to attract.
So money itself is neutral.
Essentially, yes. Think of it like divine substance in motion, like electricity, maybe. A neutral energy that moves freely. It flows away from resistance like that clenched fist and towards open, welcoming channels. The universe itself, its very nature, is abundance, not scarcity. It's an inexhaustible supply, and money is just one way that shows up.
That makes sense. You mentioned Andrew Carnegie earlier.
Right. A great example came to America with, well, basically nothing. Others saw limits, scarcity. But Carnegie, he saw need,
Yeah.
immense need. He got that wealth wasn't about grabbing a slice of a fixed pie.
Ah, so it was about creating value.
Exactly. He didn't focus on his need for money. He focused on the nation's need for steel. He poured his energy into serving that need. And guess what? The money just flowed naturally. He became one of the wealthiest people ever, not by chasing dollars, but by becoming this huge channel of service. He aligned himself with that flow of what was needed.
Wow. That's such a powerful shift, especially when you think about all the financial anxiety today. It's not about fighting for a peace, but becoming a channel for this limitless river.
Precisely.
But how do you really feel that? When the bills are right there staring you down?
It starts inside. It has to. Just take a gentle breath, maybe right now, and let this truth kind of settle in.
Yeah.
Money flows to me naturally as I align with universal abundance. Just feel the possibility in that for a moment.
Okay. So if money is this energy and it flows away from resistance,
Hmm.
how do we get into alignment? How do we actually receive it?
That brings us right to Florence Scovel Shinn's second big principle. Prosperity is your divine birthright. It's not some reward for suffering.
Ooh, that's radical for a lot of us, isn't it? The whole narrative of struggle and hardship.
It really is. Prosperity isn't something you earn through martyrdom or grinding yourself down. It's something you claim through alignment. The universe created abundance for everyone, but only those who consciously claim it really get to experience it.
And you're saying money itself responds to that energy.
Yes, spiritually, money tends to avoid that energy of martyrdom, that belief you have to earn your worth through hardship. Money kind of shies away from that. Instead, it flows with grace, with ease, towards those who understand they are inherently worthy just because they exist.
Like that ancient wisdom. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper.
Exactly, and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. See, your outer prosperity reflects your inner alignment. Abundance isn't something you beg for. The universe is eager, actually, to pour it through you the moment your consciousness becomes that welcoming vessel.
The story of Solomon comes to mind.
A perfect illustration. When offered anything, he didn't ask for riches, did he?
No, he asked for wisdom, an understanding heart.
Right, he prioritized his connection to divine intelligence, to that inner alignment. And because he did that,
He got both wisdom and wealth.
wealth beyond measure. Remember, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you.
Yeah.
That's not just a nice moral saying, it's a spiritual formula. Solomon got it. Prosperity flows from consciousness centered in truth, not from material panic. It flowed from his consciousness, not because of his circumstances.
That brings such a sense of peace. But I can hear some listeners thinking, okay, if it's my birthright, why have I struggled so much? How does Florence explain those past struggles?
She'd say those struggles weren't failures. Not at all. They were simply misunderstandings of these universal laws that are actually designed to support us. We were often, with the best intentions, working against the very principles meant to help. So the key now is letting go of that old story, that sense of unworthiness.
How do we do that?
Maybe just place a hand on your heart right now and declare with a quiet but really firm knowing, I claim my divine birthright of infinite abundance and prosperity. It is mine now. Feel the truth of that.
Mm. That idea of inviting money in, making our consciousness welcoming, it brings up our relationship with money, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. And that's Florence's third key. Money responds to your energetic relationship with it. It's neutral energy, remember, like water. It just takes on the character of the beliefs you project onto it.
So if we fear it,
It tends to slip away. If you resent wealthy people, well, you're subconsciously pushing wealth away from yourself.
or if you believe deep down that money is somehow dirty or corrupt.
You create this invisible energy barrier. I mean, think about it. Why would a welcome guest want to come into a home where it's feared or despised or seen as tainted?
Good point. So the opposite is.
Holding it with reverence, seeing it as a beautiful tool for good, as universal energy that can heal, build, bless. When you make your consciousness a safe, even sacred harbor for money to do its highest work, it's naturally drawn to you.
Like Warren Buffett, you mentioned him.
Yeah, for all his financial genius, he intuitively gets this. He doesn't see money just for personal pleasure, for hoarding. He sees it as energy to be circulated for maximum benefit. His giving pledge, giving away nearly all his wealth, that's not just charity,
It's a statement.
a profound statement of this spiritual understanding. He knows money flows most abundantly to those who hold it lightly and use it purposefully. His whole investment philosophy is about finding genuine, long-term value. That aligns with money's true nature as a flow of value exchange. The universe trusts him with more because he keeps that energy moving wisely and responsibly.
That really shifts things around the guilt we sometimes feel about money, doesn't it?
It really does. It invites us into a much higher, cleaner relationship with it.
So maybe another declaration, even just internally for now.
Yes, try this. Abundance is my natural state. Feel that.
Abundance is my natural state.
It's not just words, it's an activation. You're starting to release those old contracts with limitation, those inherited beliefs, those stories of scarcity. You're signaling to the infinite, and maybe more importantly, to your own powerful subconscious, that you are ready, ready to receive.
Okay. So as that declaration settles, let's talk about timing
Yeah.
because that trips a lot of people up. That's the fourth key, right?
Absolutely. Money flows according to universal timing, not our human impatience. So many of us feel late, like our ship has sailed,
Yeah, I get that.
but the universe, it is never ever late.
That's crucial, especially with career stress or feeling stuck.
Totally. Universal timing operates with its perfect intelligence. It sees the whole picture. Your soul's purpose, the lessons you need, your readiness, your actual capacity to handle the blessings you've asked for. Sometimes what feels like a delay. It isn't a denial. Not at all.
Incubation.
A sacred incubation.
Oh,
The universe uses that time, that feeling of delay, to expand your ability to receive, to manage, to multiply the abundance when it does arrive. You're not being held back. You're being made ready.
like Sarah Blakely, the Spanx founder.
Perfect example. Years selling fax machines door to door while working on her idea. Rejection after rejection.
From a human view, the timing seemed awful. No money, no connections.
Right. But Sarah used those delay years. She refined her vision, she strengthened her belief, she built character. She wasn't being denied, she was being forged. And when the universal timing was right, bam, doors flew open, Oprah called, sales exploded.
Because she was ready.
Exactly. Those delays were the essential foundation. Money flowed precisely when she could handle it, with wisdom, grace, and purpose.
That's so comforting when we're stressing about our own timelines. It really helps let go of that urgency.
It does. So affirm this with a peaceful heart. Universal timing orchestrates my financial abundance for my highest good and greatest purpose. Trust that.
Okay, key number 5. This one feels really important too. Gratitude.
Oh, yes. Gratitude is a magnetic force. Money flows towards appreciation and, well, it flows away from complaint. Gratitude is the frequency that opens all the channels of receiving. Complaint just slams them shut.
But people often think, well, when I get the money, then I'll be grateful.
Ah, the classic when then trap.
Yeah.
That's spiritual law in reverse. It actually creates a vibrational wall, repelling the very thing they want. Money doesn't respond to future promises, it responds to present moment appreciation. Right now. When you can look at, say, the $5 in your wallet with the same genuine gratitude you'd feel for 5 million,
You create the conditions for the 5 million to find you.
you create the energetic conditions, yes. Think of the parable of the talents. Those who were grateful for what they had and used it wisely, they got more. The one who complained and hid his talent lost even that. It's not judgment, it's spiritual physics. Gratitude multiplies, complaint diminishes.
Tony Robbins is a good example here too, right? Starting from real hardship.
Absolutely. He cultivated profound gratitude for every single opportunity, even when he had next to nothing. Appreciation for the chance to learn, to grow, to help others. That gratitude became the bedrock of his success. He celebrated every little win, every client breakthrough. Money flowed because he was this channel of gratitude empowering millions.
That's a beautiful invitation. Just find something right now, anything, to be truly grateful for.
Your breath, the roof over your head, someone you love.
Feel that warmth inside. And from that feeling, declare, I am deeply grateful for all abundance flowing to me now and always.
Beautiful. Now, the sixth key builds on this flow circulation. Money must move.
It flows to those who keep it circulating.
Yes, and it stagnates when it's hoarded out of fear. Wealth is a river, not a swamp.
That really challenges a lot of common fear based financial advice.
It does. Now, wise saving and investing are vital, don't get me wrong. But hoarding purely out of fear, that's energetically counterproductive. Money multiplies when it's moving with purpose. It diminishes when it just sits idle, choked by fear. When you allow money to flow through you in giving, in joyful spending that feels right, in wise investing, you become a clear channel that attracts an even stronger current.
Like Rockefeller. Despite his immense wealth, he kept reinvesting, giving.
Exactly. He kept the energy moving. He famously said something like, every right implies a responsibility, every opportunity an obligation, every possession a duty. His wealth grew because he treated money as a force to be circulated for productive purposes. The universe trusted him with more because he proved he'd keep it moving for the benefit of many.
That's a big lesson when we're stuck in that not enough fear.
It really is. Lean into the principle of flow. Trust that what goes out comes back. Affirm this with an open heart. Money flows through me freely, blessing everyone it touches, and returns to me multiplied.
This leads perfectly into the seventh key, which feels even bigger somehow.
It is quite expansive. Money flows most abundantly to those whose prosperity serves a purpose greater than just their own personal comfort.
Explain that a bit more.
The universe, this infinite intelligence, channels its resources through people who will use them to create value, solve problems, heal, uplift, bless the world. If your desire for wealth is only about you, your comfort, your stuff, the flow tends to be limited to meet just those personal needs, which is fine. But when your desire for prosperity is connected to a higher purpose, when you see yourself as a channel for abundance that serves not just you, but humanity or the planet,
The flow becomes unlimited.
the potential becomes unlimited. The universe trusts you with more because it knows you'll use it for the highest good of all. You become a partner in its expression.
Like Chuck Feeney, the billionaire who secretly gave it all away.
A breathtaking example. He understood the money flowed to him not for personal accumulation, but for purposeful distribution. His job wasn't to own it, but to steward it. His wealth multiplied so quickly precisely because his intention was so pure. He held it lightly, used it purposefully. Money flows towards those who understand its highest function.
That connects deeply to living a purpose driven life. Our prosperity fuels our mission.
Exactly. Whatever your sacred why is, know that prosperity is the fuel for it. So declare this with sacred intention. My wealth serves universal purposes and multiplies as it blesses the world.
Okay, we've reached the eighth key, the most vital one.
The one that powers all the others, yes. Money flows to those who maintain unwavering faith in universal provision, even when circumstances, scream limitation.
And faith isn't just wishful thinking.
No, not at all. It's a deep spiritual knowing that goes beyond appearances. It's standing in the storm and knowing the sun is still there. The great law is, according to your faith, be it unto you. That's the operating manual for reality. Your faith, your deepest dominant belief about what's possible is a command.
So if we've had faith and lack,
Reality reflected it. But now you're choosing to place your faith consciously in abundance, in your universal inheritance. And as you hold to that new faith consistently, the universe must bring you evidence to support it. It has no choice.
and faith isn't passive, it requires action.
Faith is demonstrated through action, yes. It's the courage to invest in the dream, start the business, take the class, even when the bank account looks slim. It's making decisions from a consciousness of prosperity, knowing universal provision will support actions aligned with spiritual law.
Like Mary Kay Ash, starting later in life with just $5,000.
Incredible story. Built a billion-dollar empire, empowering women. Her faith wasn't just in makeup, it was in the spiritual law that abundance flows to those who help others succeed. Money poured through her organization because her unwavering faith created the energetic vessel for it.
Wow, that's the ultimate answer to overcoming doubt, isn't it? Rooting ourselves in that knowing.
It is. Feel its certainty deep in your bones. Affirm this with absolute conviction. My faith in universal abundance creates unlimited financial prosperity in my life.
So, as these eight truths start to really sink in, integrate into our being, our world has to shift.
It must. Because you are shifting. You're no longer operating from scarcity. You're operating from abundance.
Yeah.
You're not chasing money as an object. You're welcoming it as universal energy. You're not trying to earn your worth. You know you're claiming your inheritance.
And the change happens inside first.
Always. The outer world is the mirror. It just takes a little time sometimes to catch up to the new reflection you're holding within.
So, patience, gentleness.
Absolutely. Be patient. Be gentle with yourself. If old fears pop up and they might just acknowledge them, thank them for trying to protect you maybe, and then gently, firmly return your focus to this new truth.
Those past struggles weren't failures.
Never failures, just misunderstandings of laws designed purely to support you. But now you understand. And understanding changes everything.
We're not separate from the source of all abundance.
You are an expression of it, a unique, beloved expression. The same intelligence guiding the stars and turning the seasons' lives and breathes in you. When you align with that intelligence, think from its limitless potential instead of human fear. You become a magnet for wealth that serves universal purposes.
The flow has already begun. Can you feel it? Maybe just a subtle shift.
A new sense of peace, perhaps. A quiet inner knowing. That's it.
Welcome to your new relationship with wealth. Welcome to the flow of universal abundance.
Welcome, really, to the truth of who you have always been.
And as you go about your day, maybe just carry this one question gently in your heart.
What is the first new truth you will command your world to reflect?
That's a beautiful thought to hold on to. If these truths resonated with you deep down, we really invite you to continue this journey. You can watch the related video, just click on the end screen video showing up now, or find the link in the description below. Until then, walk in the knowing of your own universal abundance.
Every word we speak is a seed, and every seed holds the promise of a harvest. The tongue is not idle, it is the sculptor of our destiny, the brush that paints the canvas of our life. Words are not mere sounds carried by air, they are living currents of creative energy. Spoken with conviction, they become commands to the unseen forces that govern our affairs. Whispered with faith, they summon opportunities, open doors, and magnetize supply from the most unexpected directions. Truly, the word is our wand, and with it we write the script of prosperity or poverty, joy or lack. When one understands the power hidden in the spoken word, life ceases to be a matter of chance and begins to reveal itself as a matter of choice. The universe listens. It bends and shapes itself according to the tone of our declarations. Say, I cannot afford, and the universe nods in agreement, closing the avenues of wealth. Say, I am divinely provided for in every way, and invisible forces move to fill your cup until it overflows. What you speak today is the harvest you will gather tomorrow. The mind is the soil, the word is the seed. Faith is the sunlight that calls forth the growth. Riches are not merely piles of gold or the possession of material things. They are the fullness of life, the freedom to express, to create, to share, and to rejoice. When you hold to words of lack, you invite shadows. When you affirm words of abundance, you awaken light. It is not circumstance that rules you, but the continual stream of words you release. Many seek prosperity by toil alone, thinking riches are born from sweat and struggle. Yet countless toil and remain empty-handed. Why? Because their words betray them. They speak of fear, of shortage, of endless difficulty, and so they chain themselves to the very conditions they dread. The outer world is but a mirror reflecting the inner decree. Change the decree, and the mirror cannot help but change with it. The secret lies in wielding the word as a wand, not casually, not carelessly, but with reverence and precision. Each declaration is a command to substance, a call to the invisible storehouse of supply. Speak with certainty, I walk in a world of opulence, and all that is mine by divine right now comes to me with speed and ease. Such words do not fall empty, for they are clothed in the authority of truth. Life rushes to obey them, so let the lips become the channel of riches, not ruin. Let the tongue utter blessings, not curses. Let speech be guarded, for it is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The key to attracting wealth lies not in struggle, but in the mastery of the word. Words are not idle sounds drifting into the air, they are seeds charged with the vitality of life itself. Every word carries weight, tone, and vibration, and each vibration sets in motion a stream of unseen activity that goes forth and returns multiplied. To one who understands this, speech becomes sacred, deliberate, and creative. A careless word is not without consequence, and a word spoken with faith and clarity is never without effect. The ancient teaching has always declared that in the beginning was the Word, for the word is the first movement of creation. Nothing takes form without first being spoken, whispered, or declared in consciousness. When we say that words are living currents of creative energy that shape destiny, we affirm that the invisible molds of our future are constantly being cast through the medium of language. Think for a moment about the utterances of daily life, those casual phrases that slip past the lips without notice. I am always unlucky. Money never stays with me. I can't do this. It's too hard. Each of these statements is a decree, a command issued to the forces of creation. The mind, hearing them, begins to build experiences to match. The subconscious does not argue, it obeys. The universe does not resist, it reflects. Such words, though spoken without thought, take root in the fertile soil of the inner life, and in time, the harvest appears in the outer world. We become the authors of our own difficulties, not because life is cruel, but because we misuse the living currents that flow through us as speech. Now consider the opposite. I walk in a universe of supply. Every day brings me closer to my highest good. My words open doors no man can shut. I am guided, guarded, and prospered in all that I do. These utterances are also seeds, but they are charged with light, charged with faith, charged with expectancy. When released, they stir currents in the unseen realm. They summon ideas, opportunities, and circumstances aligned with their vibration. What was once closed begins to open. What was once hidden begins to appear. What was once delayed begins to move swiftly toward fulfillment. Words set these movements into action, and words sustain them until manifestation is complete. Destiny is not a fixed stone path laid down long before birth. Destiny is a garden, and we are planting it every hour. If weeds appear, it is because seeds of doubt, fear, or complaint were allowed to fall upon the ground. If blossoms of wealth and joy arise, it is because words of faith, courage, and expectancy were sown. No gardener can reap roses from nettles, nor figs from thistles. Likewise, no one can reap abundance from a language of poverty, or joy from a tongue that continually speaks of sorrow. Every word is a seed, and every seed contains within it a harvest of its own kind. Consider how even the simplest utterance can alter the course of events. A word of encouragement spoken to oneself in a moment of doubt can rekindle strength and allow success where failure seemed certain. A declaration of health repeated daily can shift the body's response, awakening dormant vitality and summoning the forces of healing. A spoken blessing over one's work can draw opportunities that seemed far beyond reach. These are not fantasies but demonstrations of the fact that words are alive, words are dynamic, and words are creative. The spoken word is the link between thought and form, the bridge by which invisible ideas cross into visible expression. It is not only the words we speak aloud that shape our path, but also the silent words of inner dialogue. The continual stream of thought, murmured quietly within, acts as a constant decree. Many guard their speech in public, but in the secrecy of the mind they repeat words of fear, failure, and limitation. The subconscious makes no distinction between the loud voice and the silent one. Both are creative, both carry power, both shape destiny. Therefore, it is not enough to speak affirmations in the morning and spend the rest of the day muttering words of complaint within. The entire current of thought and language must be brought into alignment with the truth of abundance and the expectancy of good. If one desires to see the true measure of this principle, let them observe how words influence even the smallest affairs. A person who constantly declares that time is short finds themselves always hurried, always pressed, always without enough hours. Another who affirms that time serves them well discovers that tasks fit smoothly, opportunities arrive on schedule, and delays are transformed into blessings. The difference is not in the clock but in the decree. Words shape the experience of time as surely as they shape the flow of wealth, health, or opportunity. There is a subtle power in words because they do not stop at the ears. Words penetrate. They enter the atmosphere of thought and set vibrations moving. They travel outward into the unseen and return carrying the forms they have called. They also travel inward, imprinting the subconscious, which acts as a faithful servant, directing body, mind, and circumstances to fulfill the command. When one declares with certainty, "I prosper in all my ways," that declaration travels both outward and inward, creating a resonance that attracts prosperity from without while training the inner faculties to recognize and seize it. There is no word without effect. Words spoken in anger, though forgotten by the speaker, still reverberate and return with their fruit. Words spoken in love, even softly and briefly, continue to expand and bless long after the moment has passed. The creative current within words cannot be extinguished once released. They go forth, and they accomplish according to their kind. This is why discipline of speech is essential, for without discipline, the wand of creation waves wildly, calling forth both weeds and flowers, both shadows and light. To live with the awareness that words are living currents is to stand at the threshold of mastery. One begins to listen before speaking, to weigh each phrase as if it were a coin spent in the marketplace of life. One chooses words of faith, of abundance, of joy, knowing that these words are not wasted breath but living decrees. One abandons idle chatter of lack or misfortune, for such words are not harmless, but seeds that grow into conditions we may later regret. Each utterance becomes intentional, each statement aligned with the vision of the life one seeks to manifest. The universe is not deaf, nor is it indifferent to the language of its children. Every utterance is heard, every vibration acknowledged, and every declaration answered in kind. There exists a great law of correspondence, a law that mirrors back to us the very substance of what we speak. When we say, "I am not able," the universe confirms our limitation. When we declare, "I have all I need supplied by divine right," the universe unfolds new channels to prove us correct. Words are not lost in space. They are living messages carried upon the ether, returning to us clothed in form. The universe is like an unfailing echo, repeating what has been spoken, magnified and multiplied. Observe how people speak of themselves and their affairs. One says, "I never get a fair chance." Another insists, "I am always struggling." A third claims, "There is never enough." These declarations, spoken often, become living molds that the universe rushes to fill. Circumstances rise up to prove the words true. Doors remain closed, opportunities slip away, and lack continues to haunt the path. It is not that life has chosen them for misfortune, but that their words have chosen misfortune for them. The universe is obedient, impartial, and exacting. It does not discriminate between positive and negative, between wealth and want. It only reflects. It only gives back what is spoken with the weight of belief. Now listen to the one who speaks differently. "Everything I need flows to me in perfect timing. All that belongs to me by divine right is making its way into my hands. I am favored, blessed, and prospered in all that I do." These are not idle words, but powerful decrees. The universe bends in their direction, opening doors that were closed, bringing allies into place, making crooked paths straight. Opportunities that seemed distant suddenly appear, and resources that seemed impossible to secure come forth with ease. What is the difference? It is not talent alone, nor circumstance, but the vibration of words. One tongue sows lack, and lack appears. Another tongue sows abundance, and abundance flows. The universe listens not only to what is said once, but to what is repeated, sustained, and charged with emotion. A single declaration of good may begin the movement, but continual declarations build momentum. Just as water wears away stone through persistence, so do spoken affirmations carve channels in the unseen, creating wide rivers of supply that can no longer be hindered. The universe responds to the steady music of words, aligning events, people, and opportunities to the tune that is sung. If the song is one of scarcity, scarcity becomes the reality. If the song is one of plenty, plenty becomes inevitable. There is a subtle truth in how the universe hears us. It does not attend merely to the words spoken with lips, but to the tone of belief that underlies them. To say, "I am rich," while secretly doubting, produces little, for the echo returned carries the vibration of doubt. But to say, "I am provided for," with full faith, with assurance, with expectancy, is to release a command that the universe cannot ignore. The words become clothed with power. They are no longer empty phrases but carriers of conviction, and conviction is the signal that moves the unseen into action. Consider the farmer casting seed upon the ground. He does not cast once and abandon the field, nor does he doubt the soil's capacity to yield. He casts daily, he waters faithfully, and he knows that in time the earth must return what has been planted. So it is with words. They are the seeds of destiny, and the universe is the soil that can never refuse them. If one plants weeds, weeds grow. If one plants wheat, wheat grows. The soil makes no judgment, it simply obeys. And so does the universe. It does not argue with us, it does not resist us, it does not deny us. It agrees with our speech, and it gives us the harvest of our declarations. Every complaint is a prayer, every statement of fear a request, every utterance a form of agreement with the forces of creation. To say, "I cannot find work," is to command that opportunities remain hidden. To declare, I am always unlucky, is to instruct life to arrange itself according to misfortune. And yet, the power lies ever in the speaker's hands. Change the words, and the response of the universe must also change. Say instead, I walk into the perfect work prepared for me, and soon the current shifts. Say, I am guided into favorable conditions, and conditions rearrange themselves to obey. It is impossible to separate speech from destiny, for destiny is written on the current of words. The tongue holds the power of life and death, not in a metaphorical sense, but in a literal law of creation. Words are seeds, words are commands, words are decrees. They travel into the unseen, find their kind, and return to the one who sent them. The universe listens with precision, and what it hears it delivers. Those who have trained themselves to guard speech become masters of circumstance. They do not allow careless chatter of misfortune to pass their lips, for they know that every careless phrase is a seed planted. They speak as creators, deliberate and purposeful, knowing that the universe attends every syllable. They affirm only that which they desire to see made manifest, and because of this discipline, their lives unfold in harmony and abundance. The undisciplined tongue scatters weeds and roses alike, and the undisciplined life reaps both. But the disciplined speaker sows only roses, and the universe, ever obedient, returns roses in abundance. Even the smallest phrases hold power. To continually say, I am tired, is to summon weariness. To declare, I cannot remember, is to instruct the mind to forget. To insist, I am clumsy, is to train the body into awkwardness. On the other hand, to affirm, I am strong, calls forth strength. To declare, I remember with clarity, awakens the faculties of memory. To affirm, I move with grace, trains the body into ease. The universe listens even to these small decrees, and life reshapes itself according to their vibration. The law is impartial, exact, and unchanging. It is not affected by who speaks, but by what is spoken. The wealthy and the poor, the strong and the weak, the favored and the forgotten, all alike are subject to the response of the universe to their words. No one is exempt, and no one is excluded. It is a law that governs alike the king and the beggar, the sage and the fool. Words go forth, and the universe echoes them back in form. Many believe that prosperity is the result of endless toil, of laboring day and night, of pushing against circumstances until doors finally break open. They imagine that riches are wrestled from life by sheer force, that the sweat of the brow alone is the price of abundance. Yet how often do we see those who work without ceasing, who strive with all their might, yet remain in want? Their days are filled with effort, yet their hands return empty. The missing key is not effort, but the words that proceed from their mouths. For words of lack, spoken in the midst of work, poison the harvest before it can ripen. Words of fear undo the very labor the hands have built. It is not toil that creates prosperity. It is the language of abundance carried on the breath of faith. A farmer may till the soil from dawn to dusk, but if he sows only weeds, he cannot expect a crop of wheat. Likewise, one may labor with great diligence, but if the tongue is continually uttering phrases of defeat and shortage, the result will reflect the words, not the effort. To say, it will never be enough, while working with all strength, is to decree lack into existence. To complain, I will always struggle, even while sowing seeds of effort, is to bind oneself to struggle. The universe does not reward effort alone, it rewards effort aligned with speech that declares abundance. Prosperity flows first from the unseen, then into the seen. Work without the right words is like planting without sunlight, it remains barren. Words of abundance act as the light that awakens the hidden seed of prosperity. When one speaks with confidence, I prosper in everything I do, every task begins to flourish. When one declares, all channels of supply are open to me, opportunities appear where none seemed possible. When one affirms, I work with ease and am richly rewarded, the very labor of the hands is transformed into joy and returns multiplied results. Those who toil without guiding words are like sailors rowing without a compass. They may row with all their strength, but without direction. They drift endlessly. Words are the compass that sets the course, effort is the oar that propels the boat. Both are needed. But without the compass of affirmations, the oar of labor cannot deliver the sailor to the shore of prosperity. Many weary themselves with rowing, unaware that their words continually steer them in circles of lack. The wise understand that every word is a rudder turning the ship of their life, and they choose their speech carefully to point toward abundance. Observe the speech of those who live in plenty. They do not complain of shortage, they affirm supply. They do not speak of endless struggle, they declare ease. They do not say, "I can't afford this." They say, "Every word we speak is a seed, and every seed holds the promise of a harvest." The tongue is not idle, it is the sculptor of our destiny, the brush that paints the canvas of our life. Words are not mere sounds carried by air, they are living currents of creative energy. Spoken with conviction, they become commands to the unseen forces that govern our affairs. Whispered with faith, they summon opportunities, open doors, and magnetize supply from the most unexpected directions. Truly, the word is our wand, and with it we write the script of prosperity or poverty, joy or lack. When one understands the power hidden in the spoken word, life ceases to be a matter of chance and begins to reveal itself as a matter of choice. The universe listens. It bends and shapes itself according to the tone of our declarations. Say, "I cannot afford," and the universe nods in agreement, closing the avenues of wealth. Say, "I am divinely provided for in every way," and invisible forces move to fill your cup until it overflows. What you speak today is the harvest you will gather tomorrow. The mind is the soil, the word is the seed. Faith is the sunlight that calls forth the growth. Riches are not merely piles of gold or the possession of material things. They are the fullness of life, the freedom to express, to create, to share, and to rejoice. When you hold to words of lack, you invite shadows. When you affirm words of abundance, you awaken light. It is not circumstance that rules you, but the continual stream of words you release. Many seek prosperity by toil alone, thinking riches are born from sweat and struggle. Yet countless toil and remain empty-handed. Why? Because their words betray them. They speak of fear, of shortage, of endless difficulty, and so they chain themselves to the very conditions they dread. The outer world is but a mirror reflecting the inner decree. Change the decree, and the mirror cannot help but change with it. The secret lies in wielding the word as a wand, not casually, not carelessly, but with reverence and precision. Each declaration is a command to substance, a call to the invisible storehouse of supply. Speak with certainty, "I walk in a world of opulence, and all that is mine by divine right now comes to me with speed and ease." Such words do not fall empty, for they are clothed in the authority of truth. Life rushes to obey them, so let the lips become the channel of riches, not ruin. Let the tongue utter blessings, not curses. Let speech be guarded, for it is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The key to attracting wealth lies not in struggle, but in the mastery of the word. Words are not idle sounds drifting into the air, they are seeds charged with the vitality of life itself. Every word carries weight, tone, and vibration, and each vibration sets in motion a stream of unseen activity that goes forth and returns multiplied. To one who understands this, speech becomes sacred, deliberate, and creative. A careless word is not without consequence, and a word spoken with faith and clarity is never without effect. The ancient teaching has always declared that in the beginning was the Word, for the word is the first movement of creation. Nothing takes form without first being spoken, whispered, or declared in consciousness. When we say that words are living currents of creative energy that shape destiny, we affirm that the invisible molds of our future are constantly being cast through the medium of language. Think for a moment about the utterances of daily life, those casual phrases that slip past the lips without notice. "I am always unlucky." "Money never stays with me." "I can't do this." "It's too hard." Each of these statements is a decree, a command issued to the forces of creation. The mind, hearing them, begins to build experiences to match. The subconscious does not argue, it obeys. The universe does not resist, it reflects. Such words, though spoken without thought, take root in the fertile soil of the inner life, and in time, the harvest appears in the outer world. We become the authors of our own difficulties, not because life is cruel, but because we misuse the living currents that flow through us as speech. Now consider the opposite. I walk in a universe of supply. Every day brings me closer to my highest good. My words open doors no man can shut. I am guided, guarded, and prospered in all that I do. These utterances are also seeds, but they are charged with light, charged with faith, charged with expectancy. When released, they stir currents in the unseen realm. They summon ideas, opportunities, and circumstances aligned with their vibration. What was once closed begins to open. What was once hidden begins to appear. What was once delayed begins to move swiftly toward fulfillment. Words set these movements into action, and words sustain them until manifestation is complete. Destiny is not a fixed stone path laid down long before birth. Destiny is a garden, and we are planting it every hour. If weeds appear, it is because seeds of doubt, fear, or complaint were allowed to fall upon the ground. If blossoms of wealth and joy arise, it is because words of faith, courage, and expectancy were sown. No gardener can reap roses from nettles, nor figs from thistles. Likewise, no one can reap abundance from a language of poverty, or joy from a tongue that continually speaks of sorrow. Every word is a seed, and every seed contains within it a harvest of its own kind. Consider how even the simplest utterance can alter the course of events. A word of encouragement spoken to oneself in a moment of doubt can rekindle strength and allow success where failure seemed certain. A declaration of health repeated daily can shift the body's response, awakening dormant vitality and summoning the forces of healing. A spoken blessing over one's work can draw opportunities that seemed far beyond reach. These are not fantasies but demonstrations of the fact that words are alive, words are dynamic, and words are creative. The spoken word is the link between thought and form, the bridge by which invisible ideas cross into visible expression. It is not only the words we speak aloud that shape our path, but also the silent words of inner dialogue. The continual stream of thought, murmured quietly within, acts as a constant decree. Many guard their speech in public, but in the secrecy of the mind they repeat words of fear, failure, and limitation. The subconscious makes no distinction between the loud voice and the silent one. Both are creative, both carry power, both shape destiny. Therefore, it is not enough to speak affirmations in the morning and spend the rest of the day muttering words of complaint within. The entire current of thought and language must be brought into alignment with the truth of abundance and the expectancy of good. If one desires to see the true measure of this principle, let them observe how words influence even the smallest affairs. A person who constantly declares that time is short finds themselves always hurried, always pressed, always without enough hours. Another who affirms that time serves them well discovers that tasks fit smoothly, opportunities arrive on schedule, and delays are transformed into blessings. The difference is not in the clock but in the decree. Words shape the experience of time as surely as they shape the flow of wealth, health, or opportunity. There is a subtle power in words because they do not stop at the ears. Words penetrate. They enter the atmosphere of thought and set vibrations moving. They travel outward into the unseen and return carrying the forms they have called. They also travel inward, imprinting the subconscious, which acts as a faithful servant, directing body, mind, and circumstances to fulfill the command. When one declares with certainty, "I prosper in all my ways," that declaration travels both outward and inward, creating a resonance that attracts prosperity from without while training the inner faculties to recognize and seize it. There is no word without effect. Words spoken in anger, though forgotten by the speaker, still reverberate and return with their fruit. Words spoken in love, even softly and briefly, continue to expand and bless long after the moment has passed. The creative current within words cannot be extinguished once released. They go forth, and they accomplish according to their kind. This is why discipline of speech is essential, for without discipline, the wand of creation waves wildly, calling forth both weeds and flowers, both shadows and light. To live with the awareness that words are living currents is to stand at the threshold of mastery. One begins to listen before speaking, to weigh each phrase as if it were a coin spent in the marketplace of life. One chooses words of faith, of abundance, of joy, knowing that these words are not wasted breath but living decrees. One abandons idle chatter of lack or misfortune, for such words are not harmless, but seeds that grow into conditions we may later regret. Each utterance becomes intentional, each statement aligned with the vision of the life one seeks to manifest. The universe is not deaf, nor is it indifferent to the language of its children. Every utterance is heard, every vibration acknowledged, and every declaration answered in kind. There exists a great law of correspondence, a law that mirrors back to us the very substance of what we speak. When we say, "I am not able," the universe confirms our limitation. When we declare, "I have all I need supplied by divine right," the universe unfolds new channels to prove us correct. Words are not lost in space. They are living messages carried upon the ether, returning to us clothed in form. The universe is like an unfailing echo, repeating what has been spoken, magnified and multiplied. Observe how people speak of themselves and their affairs. One says, "I never get a fair chance." Another insists, "I am always struggling." A third claims, "There is never enough." These declarations, spoken often, become living molds that the universe rushes to fill. Circumstances rise up to prove the words true. Doors remain closed, opportunities slip away, and lack continues to haunt the path. It is not that life has chosen them for misfortune, but that their words have chosen misfortune for them. The universe is obedient, impartial, and exacting. It does not discriminate between positive and negative, between wealth and want. It only reflects. It only gives back what is spoken with the weight of belief. Now listen to the one who speaks differently. "Everything I need flows to me in perfect timing. All that belongs to me by divine right is making its way into my hands. I am favored, blessed, and prospered in all that I do." These are not idle words, but powerful decrees. The universe bends in their direction, opening doors that were closed, bringing allies into place, making crooked paths straight. Opportunities that seemed distant suddenly appear, and resources that seemed impossible to secure come forth with ease. What is the difference? It is not talent alone, nor circumstance, but the vibration of words. One tongue sows lack, and lack appears. Another tongue sows abundance, and abundance flows. The universe listens not only to what is said once, but to what is repeated, sustained, and charged with emotion. A single declaration of good may begin the movement, but continual declarations build momentum. Just as water wears away stone through persistence, so do spoken affirmations carve channels in the unseen, creating wide rivers of supply that can no longer be hindered. The universe responds to the steady music of words, aligning events, people, and opportunities to the tune that is sung. If the song is one of scarcity, scarcity becomes the reality. If the song is one of plenty, plenty becomes inevitable. There is a subtle truth in how the universe hears us. It does not attend merely to the words spoken with lips, but to the tone of belief that underlies them. To say, "I am rich," while secretly doubting, produces little, for the echo returned carries the vibration of doubt. But to say, "I am provided for," with full faith, with assurance, with expectancy, is to release a command that the universe cannot ignore. The words become clothed with power. They are no longer empty phrases but carriers of conviction, and conviction is the signal that moves the unseen into action. Consider the farmer casting seed upon the ground. He does not cast once and abandon the field, nor does he doubt the soil's capacity to yield. He casts daily, he waters faithfully, and he knows that in time the earth must return what has been planted. So it is with words. They are the seeds of destiny, and the universe is the soil that can never refuse them. If one plants weeds, weeds grow. If one plants wheat, wheat grows. The soil makes no judgment, it simply obeys. And so does the universe. It does not argue with us. It does not resist us. It does not deny us. It agrees with our speech, and it gives us the harvest of our declarations. Every complaint is a prayer, every statement of fear a request, every utterance a form of agreement with the forces of creation. To say, "I cannot find work," is to command that opportunities remain hidden. To declare, "I am always unlucky," is to instruct life to arrange itself according to misfortune. And yet, the power lies ever in the speaker's hands. Change the words, and the response of the universe must also change. Say instead, "I walk into the perfect work prepared for me," and soon the current shifts. Say, "I am guided into favorable conditions," and conditions rearrange themselves to obey. It is impossible to separate speech from destiny, for destiny is written on the current of words. The tongue holds the power of life and death, not in a metaphorical sense, but in a literal law of creation. Words are seeds, words are commands, words are decrees. They travel into the unseen, find their kind, and return to the one who sent them. The universe listens with precision, and what it hears it delivers. Those who have trained themselves to guard speech become masters of circumstance. They do not allow careless chatter of misfortune to pass their lips, for they know that every careless phrase is a seed planted. They speak as creators, deliberate and purposeful, knowing that the universe attends every syllable. They affirm only that which they desire to see made manifest, and because of this discipline, their lives unfold in harmony and abundance. The undisciplined tongue scatters weeds and roses alike, and the undisciplined life reaps both. But the disciplined speaker sows only roses, and the universe, ever obedient, returns roses in abundance. Even the smallest phrases hold power. To continually say, "I am tired," is to summon weariness. To declare, "I cannot remember," is to instruct the mind to forget. To insist, "I am clumsy," is to train the body into awkwardness. On the other hand, to affirm, "I am strong," calls forth strength. To declare, "I remember with clarity," awakens the faculties of memory. To affirm, "I move with grace," trains the body into ease. The universe listens even to these small decrees, and life reshapes itself according to their vibration. The law is impartial, exact, and unchanging. It is not affected by who speaks, but by what is spoken. The wealthy and the poor, the strong and the weak, the favored and the forgotten, all alike are subject to the response of the universe to their words. No one is exempt, and no one is excluded. It is a law that governs alike the king and the beggar, the sage and the fool. Words go forth, and the universe echoes them back in form. Many believe that prosperity is the result of endless toil, of laboring day and night, of pushing against circumstances until doors finally break open. They imagine that riches are wrestled from life by sheer force, that the sweat of the brow alone is the price of abundance. Yet how often do we see those who work without ceasing, who strive with all their might, yet remain in want? Their days are filled with effort, yet their hands return empty. The missing key is not effort, but the words that proceed from their mouths. For words of lack, spoken in the midst of work, poison the harvest before it can ripen. Words of fear undo the very labor the hands have built. It is not toil that creates prosperity. It is the language of abundance carried on the breath of faith. A farmer may till the soil from dawn to dusk, but if he sows only weeds, he cannot expect a crop of wheat. Likewise, one may labor with great diligence, but if the tongue is continually uttering phrases of defeat and shortage, the result will reflect the words, not the effort. To say, "It will never be enough," while working with all strength, is to decree lack into existence. To complain, "I will always struggle," even while sowing seeds of effort, is to bind oneself to struggle. The universe does not reward effort alone, it rewards effort aligned with speech that declares abundance. Prosperity flows first from the unseen, then into the seen. Work without the right words is like planting without sunlight, it remains barren. Words of abundance act as the light that awakens the hidden seed of prosperity. When one speaks with confidence, "I prosper in everything I do," every task begins to flourish. When one declares, "All channels of supply are open to me," Opportunities appear where none seemed possible. When one affirms, "I work with ease and am richly rewarded," the very labor of the hands is transformed into joy and returns multiplied results. Those who toil without guiding words are like sailors rowing without a compass. They may row with all their strength, but without direction. They drift endlessly. Words are the compass that sets the course, effort is the oar that propels the boat. Both are needed. But without the compass of affirmations, the oar of labor cannot deliver the sailor to the shore of prosperity. Many weary themselves with rowing, unaware that their words continually steer them in circles of lack. The wise understand that every word is a rudder turning the ship of their life, and they choose their speech carefully to point toward abundance. Observe the speech of those who live in plenty. They do not complain of shortage, they affirm supply. They do not speak of endless struggle, they declare ease. They do not say, "I can't afford this." They say, "Everything I need comes to me in perfect timing." Their words and their work move in harmony, and this harmony opens the gates of wealth. They labor? Yes, but they labor in the vibration of abundance, and so their labor is blessed. Their efforts, however small, yield large returns. For the language of prosperity draws multiplication from the universe. Prosperity cannot be forced through struggle, for struggle itself is a declaration. To say, "I must fight for every coin," is to bind oneself to fight. To say, "Nothing comes easily," is to decree difficulty in every direction. The mind, hearing these words, sets about creating conditions to prove them true. The subconscious, faithful to the commands of the tongue, sabotages ease and multiplies obstacles. But to speak, "Riches flow to me freely," releases a different command. The subconscious aligns with ease, and circumstances arrange themselves to provide smooth paths. Life bends toward the decree, and abundance becomes effortless. Even in work, it is not the heaviness of effort that matters but the spirit carried in words. One may spend an hour in labor while affirming, "This work is blessed, and it prospers me greatly." And that hour may yield more than another man's week of toil spoken under the curse of complaint. The weight of effort does not determine the harvest, the vibration of speech does. For speech calls forth invisible allies, unseen currents that multiply results beyond what hands alone could achieve. It is a deception to think that money and supply come from effort alone. If this were true, the hardest workers in the world would be the richest. Yet many who strain endlessly live in scarcity, while others, who speak words of abundance, attract wealth with less labor. The difference lies not in merit, but in the power of the spoken decree. Prosperity flows from words first, then manifests through channels that may include labor. But labor without affirmations is like a stream cut off from its source. The stream dries up, no matter how much the man at the riverbank digs. Consider the shopkeeper who rises daily with the declaration, "Every person who enters this shop brings blessings, and I am prospered by divine supply." His business thrives, not only because of his wares, but because his words magnetize customers and opportunities. Compare him with another who mutters, "Business is always slow, people never buy, nothing ever works for me." Though he works as long and as hard, his words repel the very prosperity he seeks. The universe listens, and it obeys. Words of abundance do not only attract money, they transform the very experience of work. A labor that once seemed heavy becomes light when blessed by affirmations. A task that seemed meaningless reveals hidden reward when spoken over with gratitude and expectancy. Even the simplest duty prospers when words of increase accompany it. The worker no longer labors as a slave to circumstance, but as a co-creator with life itself, speaking riches into existence with every phrase. The mistake of many is believing that toil is the source of wealth. Toil is only the channel, words are the source. The channel can be dug wider or deeper, but if no current flows into it, it remains empty. Words of abundance summon the current. They call forth the flow that fills the channel of labor with substance. One who works without affirmations digs canals that remain dry. One who speaks words of supply finds that even small channels overflow. The law is simple: speech sets the vibration, effort gives it form. When speech is in harmony with abundance, effort multiplies. When speech is filled with lack, effort diminishes. Words are the true fountain of prosperity. Labor is the vessel. The vessel without the fountain remains empty. But the vessel connected to the fountain overflows. The spoken word is not a mere sound that vanishes once uttered. It is a wand, a living instrument of command, a channel through which unseen substance is directed into visible form. When one understands this truth, every utterance becomes sacred, for each syllable is a decree sent forth to summon conditions, events, and experiences. The careless speak without awareness, and wonder why their lives seem bound to difficulty. Yet the wise recognize that each word carries the power of a spell, shaping reality according to its vibration. The word is the wand, and with precision it can summon prosperity from the storehouse of the infinite. To speak with certainty is to wield the wand with strength. A vague statement carries little power, but a precise declaration strikes directly at the substance of creation. When one affirms with clarity, "I walk in a world of opulence, and all that is mine by divine right comes to me," the wand has been lifted, and the invisible begins to move. The forces that govern supply take the command and begin their arrangement. People, opportunities, and circumstances shift in obedience to the utterance. The words spoken are not wasted breath, they are currents of creative energy, vibrating through the ether, clothed in authority, and destined to return with fulfillment. Every declaration is a command to substance. When one says, "I am always poor," that phrase is a command, and substance obeys by withholding riches. When one says, "I cannot succeed," that is also a command, and life arranges itself to confirm the decree. Yet when one dares to speak differently, "I am divinely prospered in every way," the command goes forth into the unseen, summoning new channels of wealth, new paths of success, new opportunities where none appeared before. The wand has no power of its own apart from the words that direct it, but when words are spoken in faith, the wand creates with unfailing precision. It is not enough to think abundance. The thought must be clothed in sound, for thought alone is like a spark, while speech is like the flame. The spark may glow silently, but the flame spreads, moves, and transforms. Words spoken aloud carry vibration beyond the self. They travel outward and stir currents in the unseen realm. To think, "I prosper," begins the process, but to say, "I prosper in everything I do," ignites the power, calls forth the energy, and sets in motion the law of manifestation. Speech is the wand in action, drawing invisible substance into visible form. Those who understand this law speak as creators, not as beggars. They do not plead for supply, for pleading acknowledges lack. Instead, they command with authority, declaring that which they know is already theirs by right. To say, "Wealth flows to me freely," is not a wish but a command, not a hope but a decree. The universe does not resist such words, for they are spoken in alignment with truth, and truth always finds expression. The wand does not falter when lifted with conviction. It acts with exactness, summoning riches from the unseen to the seen. Precision of language is vital. A vague phrase such as, "I want more money," produces little, for it acknowledges wanting, and wanting only multiplies itself. But a statement such as, "I am supplied with all that I require, quickly and abundantly," carries weight, it carries authority, it speaks from the position of having, not from the shadow of lack. The universe responds to certainty, not to wavering. The wand obeys the clarity of the command, not the confusion of doubt. The one who speaks with firmness finds their words swiftly clothed in form, while the one who hesitates receives little. For hesitation creates no clear image to be obeyed. The wand of the word does not operate in isolation from faith. Words spoken without faith are empty. They scatter like chaff in the wind. But words spoken with inner conviction are seeds planted in fertile soil. The inner belief clothes the words with substance, giving them life. When one says, "I am guided into prosperity," and believes it with the whole heart, that phrase becomes a living decree. Invisible powers stir to fulfill it. Events align, opportunities appear. The wand has been raised with certainty, and certainty always brings manifestation. Many labor under the belief that words are insignificant, that only action counts. But they do not see that words themselves are actions of the highest order. The movement of the tongue is the movement of creation. A phrase uttered in faith carries more power than days of effort without affirmation. For effort without the wand of words is blind, but words direct effort, multiplying it, blessing it, transforming it into prosperity. The worker who speaks blessings over their labor reaps greater results than one who labors without utterance. The merchant who declares prosperity over their business draws more customers than one who relies only on advertising. The word is the wand, and without it labor is empty. To wield the word as a wand is to understand the responsibility of speech. Idle chatter of lack or fear is no small matter. It is misuse of the wand, a careless casting of spells that return with unpleasant fruit. To continually say, "It never works out," is to cast a spell against one's own prosperity. To repeat, "I am always unlucky," is to wield the wand toward misfortune. Every phrase carries power, whether spoken consciously or unconsciously. The wise therefore guard their tongue, releasing only those words they wish to see clothed in form. The spoken word is also a shield. To declare, "Nothing and no one can hinder the riches that are mine by divine right," is to wield the wand as a defense. Obstacles melt before such a decree. Conditions that seemed immovable shift under its power. The spoken word not only calls forth riches, but clears the path for them to arrive. With one phrase, barriers dissolve, and the way is made plain. The wand does not only summon, it protects, guides, and clears. The key is constancy. One must lift the wand daily, not once and then forget, but again and again, until the air vibrates with the certainty of the decree. Each repetition strengthens the command, driving it deeper into the subconscious, carrying it farther into the unseen. Just as the sculptor strikes the stone again and again until the form emerges, so must words be spoken until the form of prosperity appears. It is not vain repetition, but purposeful command, each phrase shaping substance, each utterance directing power. To speak prosperity is to command prosperity, and to command prosperity is to create it. The wand of the word does not tire, it does not weaken, it does not fail. It obeys without question, it summons without hesitation, it creates without limit. Words spoken with precision and faith are the true instruments of wealth. Labor may move matter, but words move the unseen forces that govern matter. Words are the wand, and the wand obeys the hand that lifts it with authority. Guarded speech is the doorway through which riches enter life. To guard one's words is to stand watch at the threshold of creation, choosing carefully which decrees are permitted to pass into the unseen. For every utterance is a bridge, carrying thought into form, shaping the substance of destiny. Words spoken without care are like gates thrown open to thieves, allowing poverty and confusion to slip in unchallenged. Words spoken with faith and purpose are like gates that admit only guests of honor, only the treasures of abundance, only the blessings that enrich and uplift. To understand this is to hold the key to the visible expression of wealth. For guarded, faith-filled speech is the very bridge by which unseen riches cross into the world of matter. Every day the tongue moves ceaselessly, and with each phrase something is set in motion. One speaks of shortage, and shortage appears. Another speaks of delay, and delay rises up to block the way. Still another declares, "Nothing works out for me." And the universe, ever obedient, arranges circumstances to reflect the decree. Most do not realize that their lives are filled not with accidents, but with the echoes of their own words. They curse themselves without knowing, sowing seeds of failure with casual phrases, then wondering why the harvest is bitter. To guard speech is to put an end to this carelessness, to refuse the utterance of anything one does not wish to see made flesh. Faith-filled speech is more than positive talk, it is the vibration of certainty expressed in sound. Words spoken in fear carry no power to bless, for the tone of fear is the true command the universe obeys. But words spoken in faith are clothed with life, and life rushes to obey. To say, I am provided for in every way. With conviction, is to build a bridge so strong that no force of doubt can collapse it. Supply travels across that bridge, opportunities cross it, divine provision marches over it, until it stands visible in the world of form. Without such words, the riches of the unseen remain distant, shimmering but unreachable. With such words, they step across into the life of the speaker. Speech is not only a bridge for wealth, it is also a guard at the gate. When one refuses to speak of failure, the gate is closed to failure. When one declines to complain of lack, the gate is shut against lack. When one turns aside idle chatter of misfortune, the gate is locked to misfortune. The mouth becomes a sentinel, allowing only the language of prosperity to pass, and by this vigilance, the world reshapes itself. Words of blessing invite blessing, words of praise invite increase, words of gratitude summon multiplication. Guarded speech is not repression. It is selection. It is not silence born of fear, but speech born of wisdom. There is a sacred responsibility in words, for each one is a seed that cannot be recalled once sown. The careless say, "It doesn't matter what I say." But their lives bear witness to the truth that it matters greatly. The seeds of yesterday's speech are the fruits of today's conditions. If the harvest is bitter, it is because bitter words were planted. If the harvest is sweet, it is because sweet words were chosen. Guarding speech means sowing with foresight, planting only what one wishes to reap, never scattering seeds of doubt, fear, or complaint. Faith-filled words create bridges where none seem possible. In the desert of apparent lack, a single declaration can open a path to flowing rivers. When one says, "The supply I need now appears," and speaks it not as wish but as fact, unseen forces move at once to fulfill the decree. Opportunities are drawn forth from hidden places, channels open, doors swing wide. The bridge has been laid, and riches cross it. Without such words one wanders the desert, working and striving but never finding water. With such words, the oasis appears and abundance becomes visible. Guarded speech also transforms inner life. The thoughts of the heart are constantly seeking expression through the lips. When one disciplines the tongue, the mind begins to follow, reshaping itself according to the new standard. Speak enough of abundance, and the inner dialogue of lack begins to dissolve. Declare often that life blesses and prospers you, and soon even the silent whispers of doubt grow faint. Guarding words trains the mind into alignment. And when mind and mouth agree in faith, the bridge becomes indestructible. The bridge of speech is not built by a single phrase, but by the continual stream of declarations. Each affirmation is a plank laid down, each word of faith another stone set in place. Over time, the bridge grows strong and wide, carrying ever greater riches across. Just as rivers cut canyons by persistence, so does persistent speech carve channels for abundance. One day's declaration may seem to shift little, but continued utterance shapes the whole landscape of life. Faith-filled repetition is not empty, it is construction. Each phrase is a builder's hand, raising the span that connects unseen wealth to visible reality. Guarded speech is not limited to affirmations of prosperity alone, it also forbids negative prophecy. To say, "This will never work," is to lay a plank of failure across the bridge, weakening it. To declare, "Things always go wrong," is to invite collapse. To guard speech is to tear up these planks the moment they appear, replacing them with words of strength, words of victory, words of certainty. This works in my favor. Everything unfolds for my good. I am surrounded by divine order. With such words the bridge remains strong, and no weight of circumstance can break it. Even in the face of visible lack, faith-filled speech sustains the bridge. One may look upon an empty purse and still declare, "My supply is abundant and ever-flowing." One may see a closed door and still affirm, "The right opportunity opens for me now." The guarded tongue does not yield to appearances, it speaks from truth, not from fear. By this discipline, the bridge is held firm until the unseen becomes seen, until the purse fills, until the door swings wide. The lips become the channel through which destiny is written. To guard them is to guard the future. To fill them with faith is to ensure that the future is rich. Words are not idle, they are builders, guards, and bridges. To let them wander is to invite chaos, to discipline them is to invite prosperity. Every phrase is a choice between lack and abundance, between ruin and riches. To choose words of faith is to choose wealth, to choose words of doubt is to choose want. The decision is made each moment the tongue moves, and the universe responds without fail. The invisible world is always first. The spoken word is a bridge between the unseen and the seen. Words are not idle things. They are living forces that clothe themselves in matter. When you speak, you send forth seeds into the soil of life, and those seeds must bring forth after their kind. If your words are filled with doubt, fear, and complaint, the harvest will be lack and limitation. But when your words are charged with faith, joy, and expectancy, the harvest will be abundance, harmony, and fulfillment. Every word carries a vibration. The universe responds not to the appearance of things, but to the tone of belief behind them. To say, "I am poor," is to open the door for poverty. To say, "Money loves to flow to me," is to invite wealth with open arms. You are the gatekeeper of your own treasury, and your words are the key that either locks the storehouse or opens it wide. Money, like every good thing, is alive with spirit. It listens, it responds, it moves toward love and respect, and it flees from resentment and scorn. Many treat money as a tyrant or a burden, and so it behaves as such. But when you speak to money as to a dear and trusted friend, it becomes loyal, generous, and ever-present. Say to money, "You are welcome in my life. You are my faithful servant. You multiply and replenish yourself wherever I go." Money, hearing these words, hastens to obey. To manifest is to bring the invisible into visibility. The process is simple, but it requires discipline of the tongue. The careless word is like a seed thrown on barren ground. The deliberate, faith-filled word is a seed planted in rich soil, watered daily by gratitude and expectation. When you rise each morning, speak with authority. "Today I walk in abundance. My path is strewn with golden opportunities. My supply is endless and immediate." These declarations set the law of attraction in motion, and life cannot help but mirror them back to you. It is not necessary to struggle or strive, for struggle comes from fear, and fear creates resistance. The word spoken with calm certainty dissolves obstacles and draws the good to you effortlessly. The river of life flows freely, and your words carve its channel. If you say, "I always have more than enough," the river widens to meet your need. If you say, "I never have enough," the river dries up before your eyes. Speak to money as you would to a beloved child, kindly, respectfully, with encouragement and delight. Say, "You are safe with me, you are a blessing, and through you I bless others." In this way you establish a partnership with money, and money begins to seek you out, for it knows it will find a good home. Your words are commands to the unseen forces that govern your affairs. They are not mere sounds but decrees that shape destiny. To speak is to create. To affirm is to align yourself with the abundance of the universe. When you choose words of power, wealth, and love, you choose a life overflowing with supply. Words are seeds that shape reality. Each word carries a creative force, an unseen power that moves out into the ether and gathers to itself the very form it declares. When we speak, we plant in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind, and the subconscious does not question, argue, or reason. It accepts, nurtures, and brings forth whatever has been sown. A casual remark spoken without awareness may seem like nothing at the moment, yet it travels outward like ripples on water, returning multiplied, clothed in circumstances and events that mirror its tone. Just as a farmer would never sow weeds if he desired a harvest of wheat, so must we guard the words that pass our lips, for they cannot help but bring forth after their kind. A word of lack will bear lack, a word of abundance will bear abundance, and a word of health will bear health. Consider how easily people speak words of defeat. "I can't afford it. Nothing ever works out for me. I always get sick at this time of year." These phrases may feel harmless or even humorous, but the law of life does not recognize jokes. The soil does not refuse a seed, because the farmer tossed it in jest. It simply grows what has been planted. So it is with speech. Words of defeat, when repeated, take root in the subconscious, sprout in the imagination, and eventually blossom into the very experiences that were casually declared. People then wonder why they struggle, not realizing that they themselves authored the story with their own tongue. On the other hand, when words are chosen with care and spoken with conviction, they summon invisible forces to align in our favor. Everything I touch prospers. I am divinely guided in all that I do. Money flows to me easily and joyfully. These statements set in motion vibrations of success and abundance that cannot be denied. Spoken again and again, they create a rhythm in the subconscious, a melody of expectation, and life arranges itself to match the song. It is not magic in the sense of trickery, it is simply law, as reliable as gravity. The spoken word is law in action. Think of words as containers of energy. Some carry the heaviness of doubt and fear, others carry the brilliance of faith and joy. When you say, "I am afraid this will not work out," you are filling your container with failure, and that is what pours back into your life. When you say, "I am confident everything works in my favor," you are filling your container with success, and success must be the outpouring. You cannot sow a seed of thorns and expect roses, and you cannot speak words of limitation and expect expansion. The soil of life is impartial. It does not choose for you, it only produces what you declare. Even the smallest words hold power. To say, "I am," is to invoke the greatest creative command, for whatever follows becomes stamped upon your being. If you say, "I am tired, I am broke, I am unlucky," you are binding yourself to those conditions. If you say, "I am strong, I am wealthy, I am favored," you are loosing the power of creation to bring those states into visibility. The "I am" is the gateway to manifestation, and it must be guarded as sacred. Words do not act alone, they are energized by belief. A person may say, "I am prosperous," with their lips. Yet if their heart is filled with doubt and fear, the declaration is weakened. But when the spoken word is joined with inner conviction, the power is unstoppable. It is as if the seed is not only planted, but also watered and tended with care, ensuring its growth. This is why repetition and affirmation are so vital. They train the subconscious to accept the new reality, and in time belief takes root, making the words fertile. The world itself was spoken into being. Let there be light, and there was light. That same principle operates in every individual life. When you say, "Let there be supply," the invisible begins to form channels through which supply can appear. When you say, "Let there be peace," situations begin to arrange themselves to reflect harmony. The spoken decree is the spark that ignites creation. To remain silent in fear or to speak in complaint is to forfeit your creative authority. To speak boldly in faith is to claim it. Notice how children imitate the language of their parents and soon live out the very experiences described in the household. A child who constantly hears, "We can't afford it," grows up believing scarcity is natural. Another who hears, "There is always enough," grows up with an inner assurance of plenty. The pattern of words sets the stage long before the play is acted out. In the same way, adults continue to rehearse lines that either uplift or diminish their lives, seldom realizing they are both the playwright and the actor in their own drama. Guarding speech requires vigilance, for habits of language are deeply ingrained. Many people speak without awareness, scattering seeds of doubt and lack throughout their day. The practice of mindful speech turns the tide. Begin by listening to yourself, as though you were listening to a stranger. Notice the words you use to describe your circumstances, your finances, your health. Do they affirm life, or do they diminish it? Each time you catch yourself sowing a seed of limitation, replace it with a word of expansion. Instead of, "I can't," say, "I can." Instead of, "I never have enough," say, "My supply is endless." Over time, the new seeds take root, and the old harvest fades away. Your words are not empty. They are commands. They do not vanish into the air, they set unseen currents in motion. Speak poverty and poverty gathers. Speak abundance and abundance appears. Speak weakness and weakness manifests. Speak strength and strength arises. Life is always echoing back the sound of your own voice. The universe is but a great mirror, faithfully reflecting the decrees you set forth with your tongue. Money responds to love, respect, and recognition. It is not a cold or lifeless thing, but a form of energy that vibrates in harmony with the way it is treated. When people speak of money as though it were scarce, elusive, or burdensome, they unknowingly drive it away, just as one might drive away a guest by constant criticism. Money listens. It hears the tones of resentment and disdain, and it retreats. It also hears the tones of gratitude and welcome, and it draws near. Just as a beloved friend delights in being appreciated, money delights in being honored. Many speak of money as though it were an enemy. They say, "Money is the root of all evil," or "Rich people are greedy," or "I never have enough." These words carry a vibration of rejection, and what is rejected will not remain. When money is treated as a problem, it behaves like one. When it is treated as a blessing, it arrives bearing gifts. The law of life is simple: what you bless, blesses you; what you curse, curses you. To speak kindly of money, to respect its role, to acknowledge it as a servant of good, is to open the way for it to multiply and serve you well. Love is magnetic. When you love money, not with grasping or desperation, but with appreciation, you attract it. To love money is to recognize its usefulness, to see it as a tool for freedom, expression, and generosity. Love is never clingy, never anxious, never fearful. It trusts. In the same way, when you love money rightly, you trust its flow, you do not panic when it goes out, and you welcome it joyfully when it returns. A person who says with gratitude, "I love how money flows through my life and brings blessings to me and to others," sets a vibration that calls money to them in ever-increasing measure. Respect for money means handling it with care, no matter the amount. If a person despises small sums, crumples bills, scatters coins, or says, "It's just a little," they are showing disregard for the very energy they wish to attract. The one who respects money keeps it in order, treats it as valuable, and honors even the smallest coin, for the smallest contains the seed of the greatest. Respect is recognition of worth, and recognition multiplies what is recognized. When you honor $1 as you would 1,000, the 1,000 is drawn to you, for like attracts like. Recognition is the acknowledgement of money's presence and activity in your life. To say, "Money never comes to me," is blindness, for money has already moved countless times through your hands, your home, your affairs. To recognize it, even in small appearances, is to increase it. Gratitude for the money you already have is the open door for more. When you receive money and say, "I bless this money, and it blesses me," you elevate its vibration and invite it to multiply. What you ignore diminishes, but what you recognize expands. Money responds to joy as well. If you spend with regret or fear, the vibration is heavy, and the flow is blocked. If you spend with delight, knowing that money returns multiplied, the flow increases. To pay a bill with resentment is to affirm lack. To pay it with gratitude, saying, "This money blesses and returns to me," is to affirm abundance. Money is not diminished when it is spent, it is set into circulation, and circulation is life. When you give freely and joyfully, you prove your faith in supply. And money responds by coming back through channels, both expected and unexpected. There are those who chase money with worry, clutching at it, fearing its loss. This is not love or respect but desperation, and desperation repels. Just as a frightened animal flees from grasping hands, money flees from desperate hearts. True love is calm, steady, and assured. It knows that what belongs will remain and what departs will return. To hold money loosely, with appreciation and trust, is to signal confidence in infinite supply. Money responds to that confidence by flowing steadily, for it knows it is safe in the presence of one who understands its nature. Money is a faithful servant, but a poor master. When it is loved and respected, it serves generously. When it is idolized or feared, it enslaves. The balance lies in seeing money as a channel, not a source. The true source is the divine flow of supply, unlimited and unending. Money is simply one of its expressions. To confuse the channel with the source is to misplace your faith. But to love money as an instrument of good, to respect its power to bless, to recognize it as part of the infinite circulation of supply, is to keep it in its rightful place as servant and friend. Observe how those who complain of money seldom have enough, while those who speak well of it seem to attract it naturally. Words of criticism repel, words of praise invite. A person may say, "I never get ahead," and life proves them right. Another may say, "Money comes easily and frequently," and life proves them right as well. Money obeys the tone set by the speaker. It responds to the vibration of the word and the attitude behind it. The law is impartial. It delivers to each according to their decree. When you speak to money, do so as to a trusted companion. Say, "You are welcome here. You circulate freely. You bless me, and I bless you." Speak with warmth and certainty, and money will be drawn to that warmth. It will feel at home with you, for you have created a space of love and respect. Just as a cherished guest brings gifts when they know they are honored, so does money bring increase when it knows it is valued. Affirmations open the flow of abundance. Every word spoken with faith and certainty sets in motion a current of power that moves through the unseen and arranges itself in the seen. An affirmation is not merely a sentence, it is a decree, a command to the forces of life, a declaration of what must be made visible. When you affirm, you are not begging, wishing, or hoping. You are claiming what already exists in the invisible storehouse and calling it into form. The universe does not withhold, it is ever ready to pour forth supply. But it waits upon the word, for the word is the signal, the key that opens the gate. So many go through life affirming lack without realizing it. They say, "I never have enough. I can't make ends meet. Money slips through my fingers," and these statements, repeated day after day, act as affirmations of poverty. The law cannot distinguish between the careless and the deliberate, it produces in kind. Thus, a person may pray for abundance with their lips, but continually affirm lack with their daily speech, and the affirmations outweigh the prayer. The tongue is powerful, and what it repeats becomes etched in the subconscious, and the subconscious accepts it as truth. Once accepted, life must rearrange itself to prove it. True affirmations are crafted with intention. They are positive, present, and alive with conviction. I am abundant now. Wealth flows freely into my life. All that I need is supplied in divine order. Such affirmations lift the mind above appearances and anchor it in the reality of unlimited supply. Even when outer circumstances seem contrary, the spoken affirmation holds steady, planting seeds that will in time break through the soil of limitation. The farmer does not doubt the seed beneath the ground, he waters it, trusts it, and knows it will sprout. So too must affirmations be watered with repetition and faith until the harvest appears. Affirmations open the flow, because they dissolve the inner dams of fear and doubt. When you say with authority, "I always prosper," no matter the circumstances, you dismantle the belief in struggle and set your mind free to perceive new avenues of supply. Fear closes doors, while affirmation opens them. Worry tightens the hand, while affirmation relaxes it. When you affirm abundance, you create a channel within yourself through which abundance can flow. Life is always ready to give, but the receiving vessel must be open, and affirmations are the act of opening. To affirm is also to align yourself with divine order. The universe operates on harmony, balance, and circulation. When you affirm abundance, you are stepping into rhythm with that circulation. You are saying, "I am part of the flow, and the flow moves through me freely." The stagnant thought of lack is out of rhythm, like a rock blocking the river. Affirmations lift the rock and allow the current to rush forth again. Many wonder why they feel blocked, why good seems delayed. The answer lies in the constant repetition of thoughts and words that oppose abundance. The moment those words are changed, the flow resumes. Affirmations must be spoken aloud whenever possible, for the spoken word carries vibration beyond thought. Thought is powerful, but speech gives it form, clothing the invisible in sound. Sound penetrates, sound impresses, sound creates. When you say, I am wealthy and free, and you feel the vibration of those words pass through your body, you are impressing both your mind and the very atmosphere around you. The spoken affirmation charges the air with your decree, and the air itself begins to conspire for its fulfillment. Consistency is vital. A single affirmation spoken once is like a drop of water on dry soil. It may not penetrate. But affirmations spoken daily, with persistence, are like rain that softens the ground until the seed breaks through. You cannot speak abundance in the morning and lack in the afternoon and expect clarity of results. The law responds to the dominant vibration. Therefore, one must guard the tongue and commit fully to affirming only what one desires, never what one fears. Each affirmation is a brushstroke painting the canvas of your life. The more deliberate the strokes, the clearer the picture becomes. It is not enough to parrot words without feeling. Affirmations must be felt as though already true. When you say, I am prosperous now, let yourself feel the relief, the joy, the gratitude of prosperity, as though it were already present. That feeling charges the words with life. Empty words are like empty shells, but words filled with emotion are seeds bursting with vitality. The subconscious responds most quickly to words that are alive with feeling, for they bypass resistance and take root in the fertile soil of imagination. There is also power in specificity. General affirmations are helpful, but when you affirm with clarity, the mind has a definite picture to grasp. To say, I easily attract $10,000 in perfect ways, paints a vivid image for the subconscious to work with. To say, I live in a beautiful, spacious home filled with peace and light, gives substance to the affirmation, allowing the unseen to begin shaping the scene. The clearer the picture, the swifter the manifestation, for the mind moves more easily toward what it can envision. Affirmations are not meant to force or strain. They are gentle yet firm declarations of truth. They are not demands of life, but agreements with life's abundance. To affirm is to harmonize with what already exists in the invisible realm. Abundance is already present in the field of potential. Affirmations are the key that selects it, brings it forward, and anchors it in your experience. The act of affirming is the act of claiming your inheritance, of standing in your rightful place as co-creator with the divine. Even in moments of apparent lack, affirmations hold the power to shift the atmosphere. When the purse feels light, say with authority, there is always more where this came from. Supply is unlimited. When opportunities seem scarce, declare, new doors open for me constantly. I walk into golden opportunities with ease. These affirmations push against the wall of appearances and remind you that appearances are temporary shadows, not final realities. They lift the mind above the visible into the invisible, where all is already complete. Affirmations also influence others, for the vibration they carry extends outward. When you consistently affirm abundance, those around you feel your assurance and respond in kind. Opportunities arise through people drawn to your energy, resources come through unexpected hands, and situations unfold that mirror the faith you have spoken. Affirmations ripple outward, shaping not only your inner world, but your outer world as well. Fearful speech blocks supply, faith-filled speech multiplies it. Words are not idle, they carry the weight of belief behind them, and belief is creative. When a person speaks out of fear, they set a vibration of resistance, and resistance dammed up becomes obstruction. I never have enough. Something always goes wrong. Money slips away from me. Each phrase becomes a decree, and the decree is obeyed. The invisible forces that respond to speech hear the tone of fear, and instead of moving freely, they halt, waiting for a command of faith. Fear contracts, it closes the channels through which abundance flows. It is like a clenched hand that cannot receive. Faith expands, it opens the channels wide, inviting more and more to enter. It is like an open hand that welcomes the gift. Fearful speech is insidious because it often hides itself in casual remarks and habits of conversation. People joke about being broke. They complain about bills, they exaggerate misfortune, and all the while they are affirming limitation. The universe does not recognize the difference between jest and seriousness, it recognizes vibration. The soil of life does not refuse a seed because it was planted in play, it grows whatever is placed within it. Thus, fearful speech, even when light-hearted, sends forth a message of lack that must be answered in kind. Faith-filled speech, even when circumstances look dire, sends forth a message of abundance that must be answered in kind. To speak in fear is to bow before appearances, to give authority to what is seen rather than to the unseen truth. To say, "I cannot afford this," is to declare allegiance to limitation. To say, "I always find a way, my supply is endless," is to declare allegiance to abundance. The difference is not merely in the words themselves, but in the spirit that breathes through them. Fearful words spring from doubt. Faithful words spring from knowing. The one who knows that supply is infinite does not fear temporary lack, they speak in confidence, and confidence opens doors. Life multiplies whatever is spoken with conviction. Fear spoken multiplies fear, lack spoken multiplies lack. Faith spoken multiplies faith, abundance spoken multiplies abundance. If a man continually says, "I always lose money," life proves him right by arranging circumstances where money is lost. If another continually says, "Everything I touch prospers," life proves him right by arranging circumstances where prosperity appears. The law is impartial, and the multiplication depends only on the seed sown. Fearful seed produces fearful harvest, faithful seed produces faithful harvest. Fearful speech also impresses the subconscious mind, and the subconscious acts without argument. It accepts whatever is repeated and produces conditions to match. When a person says daily, "I am always in debt," the subconscious believes and arranges life to keep them in debt. When they say daily, "I am free from debt, I live in abundance," the subconscious believes and arranges life to release them into freedom. The tongue trains the subconscious, and the subconscious creates the outer life. Thus, every word is a tool of instruction, either teaching lack or teaching abundance. Faith-filled speech does more than affirm, it multiplies. To say, "Money comes to me easily and frequently," is to send forth a command that not only attracts money, but attracts it in increasing measure. Faith speaks in multiplication because faith sees no limits. It does not say, "I have just enough to get by," but rather, "My supply overflows. I have more than enough to share and to spare." The vibration of overflow invites overflow. The vibration of just enough invites only what is sufficient. Faith does not shrink life to fit circumstances, it expands circumstances to fit life. Fearful speech binds imagination, while faith-filled speech frees it. When you say, "I can't," the mind closes, it no longer seeks solutions. When you say, "I can and I will," the mind opens, it begins to search for ways, ideas, and opportunities. Fear cuts off creativity, faith releases it. Many inventions, businesses, and discoveries have been born because someone spoke with faith in possibilities when fear would have silenced them. The word spoken in faith creates an atmosphere where ideas flourish and doors swing open. Fearful speech also spreads outward, affecting others. A household where people continually speak of lack becomes heavy with tension. Opportunities are overlooked, joy is stifled, and money seems to flee. A household where people continually speak of abundance becomes light with expectation, opportunities are noticed, joy abounds, and money seems to arrive easily. Words create atmosphere, and atmosphere attracts conditions. A single voice of faith can lift an entire household, while a single voice of fear can burden it. The practice of faith-filled speech requires discipline. Fearful words often rise to the lips because appearances press upon the senses. A bill arrives and the instinct is to say, "I can't pay this." But the disciplined tongue says, "This bill is already paid in divine order," and money comes easily to cover it. The appearance does not dictate the word dictates the appearance. To master speech is to master circumstances. The moment one refuses to let fear speak through the lips, fear loses its power to shape reality. Faith-filled speech also carries the spirit of gratitude. Gratitude itself is an affirmation that multiplies supply. To say, "I am grateful for the money I have now, and I welcome more," is to open the channel wider. Gratitude affirms abundance, and abundance responds by increasing. Fear speaks in complaint. This isn't enough, I never have what I need. Complaint tightens the flow, and even what little is present diminishes. Gratitude loosens the flow, and even the little multiplies. Faith and gratitude together create an unstoppable current of increase. Fearful speech is rooted in the belief that supply is limited, while faith-filled speech is rooted in the knowing that supply is infinite. Fear says, if I gain, another must lose. Faith says, there is more than enough for all. Fear says, I must hold tightly to what I have. Faith says, I can release freely, for more always comes. Fear says, opportunities are scarce. Faith says, opportunities are everywhere, and they come to me constantly. The vibration of fear creates scarcity, the vibration of faith creates plenty. Each person chooses daily which vibration to set in motion by the words they speak. Speak to money as a trusted friend and partner. Money is not a stranger to be feared or a master to be obeyed. It is a companion that responds to the way it is treated. When you speak harshly of money, you push it away. When you curse it, complain about it, or call it evil, you shut the door to its presence. But when you speak kindly, when you acknowledge it as a loyal ally, it draws near with eagerness, ready to serve. Money listens just as a friend listens. It responds to tone, intention, and attitude. The words you speak to money are instructions, and money obeys. Imagine greeting money each morning as you would a cherished guest. You rise and say, money, I welcome you into my life. You are safe here. You circulate freely, bringing blessings wherever you go. These words create an atmosphere of hospitality, and money feels at home. Just as a friend enjoys returning to a place of warmth, so does money enjoy returning to the one who honors it. Many do the opposite. They sigh when money leaves, they scold it when it seems scarce, and they declare it hard to keep. Such speech is like slamming the door on a visitor, and then wondering why the visitor does not return. Speaking to money as a partner means recognizing its role in your life. Money is not merely paper or coins, it is a form of energy, a vehicle through which good can be expressed. It allows freedom of choice, the ability to bless others, the capacity to create beauty, comfort, and opportunity. When you speak to money with respect, you affirm its usefulness and its divine purpose. To say, money is a blessing, and through me it blesses others, is to place money in its rightful role, a servant of good, not a source of harm. Respect for money aligns you with its natural flow, and that flow increases where it is welcomed. Speaking as to a trusted friend also means speaking words of assurance. A friend who constantly hears, you never show up for me, you always leave me, you cause me trouble, will eventually withdraw. Money, too, withdraws when spoken to in such terms. But if you say, money, you are faithful, you are steady, you come to me easily, and you stay with me joyfully, then money remains loyal. It behaves according to the role you assign it. If you declare it fleeting, it becomes fleeting. If you declare it dependable, it becomes dependable. Speech is the script, and money plays the part you write for it. Many treat money as though it were a tyrant, holding power over their lives. They say, I can't do this because of money, or money controls everything. In truth, money is a servant, not a master. To speak to it as a partner is to reclaim your authority. Say, money, you serve me well. You support my dreams, you carry out my visions. You multiply and return to me freely. These words restore balance, reminding you that money exists to work for you, not to rule over you. A partner is not an enemy but a helper, and money delights in being given that role. Partnership with money also requires appreciation. Just as a friend feels valued when thanked, money feels valued when blessed. Each time money comes into your hands, say, thank you, money, for arriving so perfectly. Thank you for all you do for me. Each time money goes out, say, thank you, money, for blessing this exchange. You return to me multiplied. Gratitude turns every transaction into a moment of communion with money, deepening the bond of trust. Instead of fearing money's departure, you celebrate its circulation, knowing that like a loyal partner, it always finds its way back. To speak to money as a trusted friend is also to confide in it, to share your intentions and include it in your visions. You may say, money. Together we create a life of freedom and joy. Together we build homes, support families, inspire others, and bring beauty into the world. By speaking in this way, you weave money into your dreams, not as a barrier but as a collaborator. You shift the narrative from, I need money to do this, to, money and I accomplish this together. In partnership there is ease, cooperation, and flow. Money, like any partner, responds to consistency. You cannot praise it one day and curse it the next and expect loyalty. If one day you say, money loves me and flows to me, and the next day you say, I never have enough, you confuse the relationship. Consistent speech builds trust. Just as a friend feels secure in steady affirmation, money feels secure in steady words of respect. The more consistent your declarations, the stronger the bond becomes. Over time, money learns to trust your welcome and begins to arrive with greater ease and regularity. Speaking to money as a friend also transforms the way you feel about receiving it. Some shrink from money, feeling guilty or unworthy. Yet no one hesitates to receive a gift from a friend. If money is your friend, you accept it joyfully, knowing it comes to you with love. Say, money, I receive you with open arms. You are always welcome here. This attitude dissolves guilt and resistance, replacing them with openness and joy. The more you welcome money, the more it comes, just as a friend visits often when they feel wanted. When money is treated as a partner, it also becomes part of your spiritual practice. You speak to it with reverence, not worship but acknowledgement. You see it as a channel of divine supply, and you affirm its sacred role in your life. Money, you are a channel of good. You carry divine energy into form. You are holy in your purpose. Speaking in this way sanctifies the relationship, lifting it from the mundane to the sacred. Money then becomes not only a partner in worldly affairs, but also an instrument of spiritual expression, multiplying good in countless ways. Before a store hands you your purchase, they give you a receipt, proof it is yours, even before you take it home. The universe works the same way. Every answered prayer, every dream, every fortune is first given an unseen receipt. It is a signal in the spiritual world that says, this belongs to you, it is already paid for. But most people never claim that proof. They wait for the package before believing, and so the package never comes. Today I will place that unseen receipt in your hands, so you can walk through life knowing, not hoping, not wishing, but knowing your good is already yours. You cannot receive what you do not first believe you own. In the world of spirit, the receipt comes before the possession. Long before the box is placed in your hands, heaven has already marked it as yours. This is what I call the unseen receipt, the invisible proof issued in the ledger of divine law, the very moment you align your desire with your spoken word. The world teaches you to wait for evidence before you believe. God's law demands that you believe before you see. That is the difference between spiritual mastery and spiritual delay. When you pay for something in a store, the clerk places a slip of paper in your hand. You may not yet have the package. Perhaps it will be delivered tomorrow. Perhaps it is being wrapped. But that slip is all the proof you need to walk out of the store in peace. You know the item is already paid for, already reserved in your name, already on its way to you. And you guard that paper because without it, you would have no proof to collect your purchase. The unseen receipt works the same way, only it is far more powerful. It is not printed on paper, it is etched into your spirit. It is your absolute conviction, your unshakable knowing that what you have spoken in faith is already paid for in full. It is issued not by a cashier but by the divine, and once given the universe must honor it, unless you throw it away through fear, doubt, or careless words. Let me tell you something important, something few truly grasp. The moment your desire rises within you, and you match it with a word of faith, the transaction in the unseen is complete. That unseen receipt is handed to you in the form of inner assurance, a calm, unwavering feeling that says, "This belongs to me. I am not chasing it. I am not begging for it. I am simply awaiting its arrival." This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual law in motion. But here is where most souls falter. They pray, but then they doubt. They claim, but then they contradict. They speak faith in the morning and fear in the night. They look for signs, and when they don't see them, they whisper, "Maybe it isn't coming." That is the same as tearing your receipt in half and throwing it into the wind. And when the universe arrives with your package, it finds no one holding proof. Delivery is delayed, not because heaven has denied you, but because you have denied yourself by letting go of your proof. Imagine this simple scene. You've ordered a beautiful coat from a shop. It's paid for, but the tailor needs a few days to adjust it. You leave with your receipt in your hand. 2 days later, you walk back in, and they ask for proof of purchase. If you've lost it, they cannot hand over the coat. It is yours, yes, but without the receipt, the connection between your payment and your possession is broken. In the spiritual world, doubt is the thief that steals your receipt. Fear is the fire that burns it before the package arrives. That is why I tell you, beloved, guard your unseen receipt as though your life depends on it. For in many ways it does. The quality of your life, the shape of your destiny, the unfolding of your dreams, all depend on whether you can hold proof before possession. This is the work of the soul, to keep that proof alive, bright and untouched by the shadows of circumstance. Now listen closely, because this is where so many miss the mark. The receipt is not an external sign. It is not the message from a friend, the letter in the post, the sudden phone call that says yes. Those are the delivery trucks, the couriers of heaven. The receipt comes first, and it is within you. You will know you have it when your heart stops asking if and begins declaring when. You will feel it when you no longer rehearse all the ways it might not happen. You will sense it when peace replaces panic, and joy begins to rise like the morning sun in your spirit. The unseen receipt changes how you carry yourself. A man holding a paid-in-full receipt does not pace the floor wondering if the store will honor it. He walks into the shop, holds it out, and says, "I've come for what's mine." So too must you walk into each day saying, "I've come for what's mine," even if the physical package has not yet arrived. Here is my advice to you, and I give it as one who has walked this law and seen its power work wonders. The moment you pray, the moment you speak, the moment you declare something as yours, see yourself receiving that unseen receipt. Picture it as clearly as you would picture paper in your hand. Hold it in your mind's eye. Feel the certainty that it is done. And then, no matter what the outer world shouts, refuse to release it. Say to yourself again and again, "I have my proof. My blessing is mine. It is already paid for." This is why Jesus said, "Whatsoever things ye desire, when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Notice he did not say, "When you pray, wait to see if it comes, and then believe." No, he said, "Believe now." And in that belief you hold the unseen receipt that guarantees delivery. Remember, the receipt does not create the blessing, it confirms it. The blessing already exists in the warehouse of heaven. The moment you hold proof in your spirit, the delivery process begins. Heaven cannot and will not deny a claim backed by faith. The only one who can cancel it is you. So today, my beloved, I ask you, are you holding your receipt, or have you let it slip from your grasp? If you've lost it, pick it up again. Speak your claim, seal it with your word, and from this day forward, guard it as the most precious possession you own, because it is. The true art of manifestation is learning to live as though you already have what is yet to arrive. I call this proof before possession. The world has taught you to believe after you see. Spirit demands that you believe before you see. That is the great reversal of divine law. Faith is not blind. It sees more clearly than human eyes ever could. It sees the finished house while the land is still empty. It sees the fruit while the seed is still buried. It sees the victory while the battle still rages. When you hold that unseen receipt in your spirit, you begin to carry yourself differently. Your words change. Your posture shifts. Your choices align with the reality of ownership, and the energy around you begins to adjust to match your belief. Do you know why? Because the universe does not respond to what you want. It responds to what you know. And owners know they own. Think about it. When you buy something expensive, something you value, and you've already paid for it, there's a confidence that comes over you. You don't pace the floor in worry. You don't beg the store to remember your order. You have proof. You walk with certainty. And it is that certainty, not the thing itself, that makes the store treat you differently, that makes the clerks move faster, that makes the process smooth. Now let me paint you a living picture. A woman buys a wedding dress months before the ceremony. The invitations haven't gone out. The flowers haven't been chosen. There isn't even a wedding date set, but that dress hangs in her closet, untouched and waiting. She does not call the shop every week. Are you sure it's still mine? She does not clutch her bank receipt in fear. She knows it is hers because she paid the price and she holds the proof. She acts in faith on that fact. She books the venue, she sends the invitations, she prepares for the day, because to her it's already a settled matter. That is the energy you must bring to your blessings. The unseen receipt you hold in the realm of spirit must give you the same confidence. It may not be printed on paper, but it is stamped on your soul. You may not be able to wave it in the air for the world to see, but you can carry it in your words, your actions, and your gratitude. Here's what I've learned from watching so many souls miss their appointed delivery. They delay their miracle because they refuse to act like the owner. They say, "When I have it, then I'll believe. When I see it, then I'll celebrate." But the universe says, "Believe and celebrate now, and I will deliver." The law is as sure as gravity. You will never see what you refuse to believe first. If you act like a stranger to your own blessing, heaven will treat you as one. Ownership is not about arrogance, it is about alignment. When you live as though you already have it, you create a spiritual vibration that tells the universe, "This is already mine. Deliver it to me in the perfect time." And here is something I want you to understand deeply. Ownership requires preparation. If you truly believe the blessing is on its way, you prepare the place before it arrives. You make space. You shift your life to accommodate it. If you are believing for a new home, you start clearing out the old clutter. If you are believing for financial increase, you start organizing your accounts as if the increase has already come. If you are believing for love, you start living in joy and wholeness so that love walks into a place already warmed by your spirit. I have often told my students, heaven delivers to prepared places. The unprepared heart delays its own blessing, not because God is withholding, but because it has not made room to receive. You wouldn't order a new dining table and leave piles of boxes in the dining room, would you? No. You would clear the space so when it arrives, it fits perfectly. The same is true in spiritual law, and here is your gentle but firm refresher for the soul. Every doubt you allow is like setting your receipt down on the counter and walking away. The blessing is still yours in the records of heaven, but you've walked off without the proof. Without the proof, you will not step boldly into the place where delivery happens. So I say, keep it in your hand, guard it, protect it from the thief called fear and the pickpocket called delay. And perhaps most importantly, let your joy be your proof, let your gratitude be your proof, let your peace be your proof. These are not just pleasant emotions, they are the spiritual documents that prove you believe the blessing is already in your possession. When you can smile and say, It's mine before it arrives. The universe hears that as your signature of acceptance. The one who proves before possession does not live in restless longing. They live in quiet expectation, and expectation is not desperation, it is calm, steady knowing. And those who know never wait long for the knock on the door. I tell you now, your words are your signature in the ledger of the universe. Every syllable you speak signs your name to something in the unseen. You cannot escape it. You cannot speak idly. You cannot scatter words as though they were feathers in the wind, for each one is a command, a seal, a decree that the law of God will fulfill without error. What are you signing for today? Are your words signing for peace, for abundance, for love, for opportunity? Or have you, without realizing it, been signing for lack, for struggle, for delay? You cannot speak both ways. Sweet water and bitter cannot flow from the same spring. Blessing and cursing cannot live together in the same mouth. When you speak in faith, you place your invisible signature upon your blessing, marking it as yours, beyond dispute, beyond theft, beyond delay. But when you speak in fear, in doubt, in complaint, you sign for the wrong delivery, and heaven's perfect supply stands at your door, unable to enter. I tell you, never speak unless you are willing for your words to be made flesh. The spiritual law does not laugh at your jokes, does not excuse your just kidding, does not ignore your mutterings in frustration. The law hears, the law records, and the law delivers. That is why I keep my lips in alignment with my vision. That is why I speak only what I am willing to receive. Your words are not weak things, they are the very ink that writes your life's story. If you continually sign for small, you cannot receive great. If you continually sign for delay, you cannot receive now. If you continually sign for just enough, you cannot receive overflow. Many of you speak faith in the morning and erase it by nightfall. You pray, I have my good now, and then you tell your neighbor, it will probably take a long time. My dear one, do you not see? You have torn up your own receipt. The angels are ready to deliver, but they cannot bring you a blessing you have declined with your own tongue. Every time you open your mouth, you either confirm the receipt or you void it. There is no neutral language. There are no idle words. Every word goes out with an assignment, and it will complete that assignment faithfully. Speak health, and health begins to arrange itself around you. Speak lack, and lack begins to arrange itself around you. I will give you a picture. Imagine you have gone into a fine shop and purchased a beautiful coat. The clerk gives you the receipt, but the coat will be delivered later that day. You step outside, proud of your purchase, but halfway home, you toss the receipt in the gutter. What happens when the delivery boy comes? He knocks, but without your receipt, you cannot prove the coat is yours. That is what happens when you speak faith, and then contradict it. You throw away your own proof. And here, I give you a refresher. Guard your words as you would guard the key to your home. You would never leave your front door open for thieves. Do not leave your mouth open for doubt. One sentence of fear can undo hours of faithful affirming, if you do not correct it immediately. If you are believing for prosperity, let every word you speak be rich with the vibration of abundance. Do not speak of how little you have, speak of how full your storehouses are in spirit. If you are believing for health, do not rehearse your pains to every ear that will listen. Speak of your vitality, your wholeness, your divine perfection. If you are believing for love, do not speak of loneliness. Speak as though the one who loves you perfectly is already beside you. I tell you this, because I know the law. Words spoken with faith are orders placed in heaven's storehouse. They will not be ignored. But words spoken in fear place orders in the wrong warehouse, and those too will be delivered, sometimes faster than you think. Therefore, let your tongue become your most faithful servant. Let it sign for joy in the morning, for provision at noon, for peace at night. Do not allow one careless sentence to mark your blessing. Return to sender. Some of you listening now have let your signatures fade. You believed for a season, and then, when nothing seemed to happen, your words began to waver. You said, "Perhaps it is not meant for me. Perhaps God has forgotten." I tell you, the receipt is still valid. The delivery is still scheduled. Heaven has not sold your blessing to another. It waits for you to put your name back upon it with the ink of your tongue. Speak it again. Say it again. Declare, "This is mine. It is done. It is finished." And as surely as the sun rises without your asking, the law will bring to you what you have faithfully signed for. So now, before this moment passes, seal your blessing with your words, right where you are, under your breath or aloud. Say, "It is mine now. I receive it now. I give thanks that it is done." You have just signed for your package in the courts of heaven, and heaven never loses a record. When you have signed for your blessing in the unseen, your next task is to live as though the delivery is already on its way. The world says, "I'll believe it when I see it." But the law of God says, "You will see it when you believe it." The two ways cannot mix. You cannot walk in the world's hesitation and expect the kingdom's speed. Once you hold the unseen receipt, you must shift into the posture of one who already owns the thing. How does the owner walk? How does the owner speak? How does the owner prepare? I tell you, if you believe the furniture is coming, you clear the space in your room. If you believe the check is coming, you prepare the account to receive it. If you believe the healing is done, you begin to speak and act like one who is whole. It is the posture of readiness that proves to the universe that your faith is not idle talk. Heaven responds to readiness. Readiness is faith in motion. You cannot tell me you believe for abundance, and yet live every day rehearsing lack in your speech and fear in your choices. That is not readiness. That is suspicion. And suspicion is a shadow that delays the delivery. The moment you act as though it's already yours, the law accelerates the process. When I believe for something, I make room for it. I speak to it. I prepare for it as a hostess prepares for a guest. I do not wait until the guest is knocking at the door to clean the house. I set the table early. I make the bed early. I light the lamp early. Why? Because my preparation is my proof to heaven that I am expecting and ready. There are those listening now who have prayed and prayed, but the delivery still tarries, not because the law has failed, but because they have not made space for the package to arrive. You say you want more income, but your mind is still organized for just enough. You say you want a bigger home, but your heart is still holding on to the clutter of fear. You say you want to be well, but you still speak as though illness has the final word. I tell you this, when you live as if the delivery is certain, you magnetize the very thing you desire. And here is your refresher. Your attitude after you've prayed is the loudest sermon you will ever preach to the universe. You can undo your own request, not with silence, but with the low hum of doubt that seeps into every choice you make. If you have ordered abundance, do not act like you're still shopping around for it. Stop comparing prices in the store of life, as though the blessing hasn't already been paid for. If you have ordered peace, stop bracing for the next storm as though it is inevitable. If you have ordered love, stop shutting your door and muttering, "No one ever comes for me." You must act now, speak now, move now, as though the thing is in transit and will be here any moment. For truly it is. You cannot see the heavenly couriers, but they are already walking toward you. The delivery is often closer than you think, but your posture will determine whether it finds you ready or finds you absent. Consider this. If a friend told you they were sending a valuable gift to arrive this week, would you not keep an eye on the door? Would you not listen for the bell? Would you not perhaps check your porch from time to time? This is the posture of expectation, and expectation is not anxiety. It is the quiet joy of knowing something good is coming. And I say to you, cultivate that quiet joy. It is the fragrance that draws your blessing nearer. The delivery angels travel faster when they sense a heart prepared with gratitude. Gratitude is the clearing in the forest that tells them, this is where the package belongs. Some will say, but Florence, what if I prepare and it doesn't come? My dear one, the moment you say that, you have canceled the order. You cannot hold the receipt in one hand and the return slip in the other. You must decide, either it is yours or it is not. And if it is yours, then you must behave like the owner from this moment on. So begin today. Do one thing that proves your faith. If you believe for prosperity, open an account marked for overflow and begin to thank God for its fullness, even before $1 arrives. If you believe for health, take one step today in the rhythm of the well. Perhaps it is the way you stand, the way you breathe, the way you choose your food. If you believe for a home, begin to bless the walls where you are now and envision the ones that are on their way. Live in the vibration of the answer, not the shadow of the question. This is the posture that causes heaven to say, this one is ready. This one will not waste what is given. This one believes. And when heaven says that about you, my dear, the unseen receipt you hold will not remain unseen for long. When the blessing is already in motion, your work is not finished. It has only changed. Now your task is to guard the delivery until it arrives in your hands. The unseen receipt is yours. The delivery is on the way. But the journey between the storehouse of heaven and the doorstep of your life is a sacred corridor. And in that corridor, distractions and thieves often wait. I do not speak of thieves in the form of people. I speak of the silent robbers, doubt, fear, careless words, and old habits of lack. These are the shadows that slip into your mind when you are weary of waiting. They whisper, perhaps it is not coming after all. Perhaps you imagined it. Perhaps you asked too much. My dear, these are lies spoken in the accent of delay. They are not truth. They are tests. When you guard the delivery, you do not allow your mind to become the enemy of your faith. You remember every day that the law of God does not fail. Delivery may appear slow to the human eye, but it is exact in the realm of spirit. The moment you accepted your unseen receipt, the transaction was sealed. Your role now is to stand watch as a sentinel at the gate of your own words and thoughts. Think of a shepherd guarding a flock. The sheep are on their way home from the pasture, but until they are safely in the fold, the shepherd stays alert. So must you. You cannot grow lazy in your faith while the package is still traveling. If the shepherd sleeps, the wolves move in. If you sleep in your spirit, the wolves of doubt will come for your blessing. And here is your refresher. What you say while waiting is the bridge your blessing must cross to reach you. If the bridge is cracked with complaint or weakened with fear, the package may arrive only to find no safe place to land. Guarding the delivery means speaking only words that match your receipt. If you have signed for abundance, then you speak as one who has more than enough, even when the pockets feel empty. If you have signed for healing, then you speak as one whose body is whole, even when symptoms knock at your door. If you have signed for reconciliation, then you speak as one whose relationships are already restored, even when silence lingers between you and the other. It is easy to speak faith when the answer has already come. But I tell you, the universe is most moved by those who speak faith while the room still looks empty. This is the language of the unseen receipt, the dialect of divine delivery. Now listen closely. There will be moments when the enemy of your mind sends a false delivery notice. This comes in the form of partial blessings or counterfeit opportunities meant to distract you from the fullness of what you ordered. Do not settle for a fraction when the whole has been paid for. If you asked for the best, do not sign for the second best. If you asked for the complete healing, do not agree to better than before but still in pain. The law of God is exact. It delivers precisely what your faith has signed for. Guarding the delivery also means refusing to let others talk you out of it. Not everyone will understand your conviction. Some will call you unrealistic, some will tell you to be reasonable, or prepare for disappointment. But beloved, you are not living according to the reason of man, you are living according to the reason of heaven. And heaven has no reason to fail. When I have believed for something, I guard my tongue as if it were a vault. I do not spill my faith into the ears of those who will trample it. I speak only to those who will guard it with me, or I speak to God alone. For the one who mocks your faith is a thief in disguise, and thieves do not deserve the combination to your vault. The guarding is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet refusal to let fear nest in your heart. Sometimes it is the discipline of turning your gaze away from appearances and back to the promise. Sometimes it is simply breathing deep, holding your unseen receipt close, and saying, "It is mine, it is mine, it is mine." And here is the truth: the longer you hold your receipt with steady hands, the stronger your delivery becomes. The universe watches for the one who can keep faith alive in the gap between spoken and seen. That one will never be left without the answer. So keep your eyes on the door, your words on the promise, your heart on the truth. The package is not lost. It has not been delayed beyond the perfect time. The couriers of heaven do not miss their mark. And when the knock finally comes, you will open the door to find the very thing you dared to believe for whole, complete, and exactly as you claimed it. When the knock comes at your door, you must open it without trembling. Too many souls labor in prayer, stand guard in faith, and yet when the moment of delivery arrives, they shrink back, they hesitate, they feel unworthy. They look at the blessing they have longed for and whisper, "Is this really for me?" Beloved, you must understand. The very moment you question whether the package is yours, you are handing it back to the courier. Heaven does not deliver on trial. It delivers by title deed. The unseen receipt you have carried all this time is the proof, and proof demands no apology. When you receive without hesitation, you align yourself with the rhythm of divine law. God does not cast pearls and then ask if you'd like to try them on first. God does not pour living water into your cup and say, "Sip to see if you like it." Heaven's nature is abundance, not half measure. The blessing comes whole, and you must take it whole. I have watched countless people undo their own manifestation because the spirit of unworthiness crept in at the finish line. They prayed with conviction, spoke with authority, guarded with discipline, but when the blessing stood in front of them, they delayed with thoughts like, "Perhaps this is too much, perhaps I should wait, perhaps someone else needs it more." That is not humility, that is self-sabotage, dressed as politeness. When you refuse to take hold of what heaven has sent, you are not only denying yourself, you are insulting the giver. You are saying in effect, "Your judgment is wrong. I am not the right person to bless." Beloved, the law of God does not make such errors. If it has come to your door, it has your name written upon it in letters. The angels can read. And here is your refresher for this moment. The way you receive is a seed for the blessings that follow. If you receive in fear, you plant more fear. If you receive in guilt, you plant more guilt. But if you receive with open hands and open heart, you plant the very faith that will draw more to you without strain. Consider this: when you walk into a store and pay for an item, you do not stand at the counter, staring at the clerk, saying, "Are you sure I can take this?" Perhaps you should give it to someone else. No, you take the bag, you thank the clerk. You walk out knowing it is yours, because you have paid in full. In the realm of spirit, your payment is your faith, and the receipt is your spoken word. The moment you have believed, you have paid. The moment you have spoken, you have sealed the transaction. So when the blessing arrives, take it. Smile at heaven and say, I receive it gladly. Receiving without hesitation also means not diluting your blessing with disclaimers. Do not say, well, I was lucky, or it just happened. That is stripping the glory from God and giving it to chance. There is no chance in divine law, there is only perfect order. Say instead, it came exactly as I knew it would. For in that confession you honor the law and strengthen the bridge for the next blessing. You may find that when you receive boldly, some will not understand. They may say you are greedy, arrogant, or self-centered. Let them speak. They are revealing their own contracts with lack, not truth about your abundance. A person who knows the law rejoices when another receives, for they understand that one person's blessing is proof that the storehouse is still full. Do not flinch when your blessing is large. Do not tone it down to make others comfortable. The size of your manifestation is not a measure of your worthiness, it is a measure of your faith. If you believed for something grand, then the delivery will be grand. Shrinking from it will not make you holy, but it may make you poor again. Remember, beloved, that hesitation is not neutral. It is active resistance to the flow of divine supply. It slows the river that was rushing to you. It sends the message to heaven, perhaps I do not need it after all. And heaven, being obedient to your words and vibrations, will withdraw the waters until you call again. I tell you, when the package arrives, open it wide, wear the coat, drive the car, sign the papers, step into the house, deposit the check, speak the promise as fulfilled, use what has been given without the tremor of guilt. This is not about flaunting, it is about fulfilling the purpose for which you called it forth. Blessings are not museum pieces to be admired from a distance. They are tools for your destiny, meant to be used, multiplied and shared. Yes, shared. For when you receive without hesitation, you place yourself in the overflow, and from the overflow, you give, not from guilt, but from joy, not to prove you deserve it, but because you know there is more where this came from. That is the rhythm of divine circulation. Receive fully, use fully, give freely, and receive again. So I say to you now, hold your unseen receipt close until the day of delivery, and when that knock comes, answer with confidence. Let there be no pause between heaven's gift and your hand. Say with your spirit, it is mine, and let the whole of creation hear the sound of a child of God taking what is already theirs. Beloved, you have now heard the truth that many live their whole lives without knowing. The blessing you long for is not somewhere far away, hidden in the fog of chance. It is already marked for you. It is already in motion toward you. And you, not the world, not the economy, not the opinions of others, you hold the unseen receipt in your hand. You have learned that before anything shows up in your bank account, it must first be born in the unseen. You have learned that the name you speak over your desire is the address heaven uses to find you. You have learned that guarding your words and your atmosphere is how you protect what you've ordered from being stolen before it arrives. You have learned to stand firm when doubt tries to trick you into thinking your receipt has expired. And now you know the final key, that when the delivery comes, you must take it without hesitation, as one who knows the bill has been paid in full. This is the rhythm of divine law. Name it, claim it, guard it, stand for it, receive it. Not one part can be skipped, not one part is optional. And when you live this way, your life becomes a living testimony, proof to everyone watching that faith is not fantasy, and God's supply is not scarce. Now I tell you, the moment this video ends, The spiritual clock starts ticking on the blessing you've been carrying in your heart. Heaven is looking for your address. It is listening for your voice. It is watching for your readiness. So take this moment right here and speak it aloud. I have my unseen receipt and my blessing is on its way. It is mine, and I receive it without hesitation. Write it below in the comments. For what you write and speak you seal. Let the universe hear it. Let the angels read it, and let your own heart believe it. And when the knock comes, beloved, answer the door.